Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. After yesterday's tech-led sell-off, we're seeing a little bit of a bounce back this morning in North American stock futures. Pretty negative at the end of the day yesterday. It was the NASDAQ, of course, leading things to the downside. It was off about 2% when all was said and done. We had all the big names in the tech group in negative territory, anywhere from 2 to kind of 4.5 to 5%. We'll have a look at a few of those coming up this morning. More positive earnings, meanwhile, helping to offset that kind of underlying negative sentiment this morning. We got a positive report from Lyft aftermarket yesterday. Match Group this morning. Zillow as well out with earnings. We'll talk about General Motors moving to the upside here this morning as well after earnings. Markets hit the lows yesterday after U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen made comments suggesting that interest rates may have to go up in order to keep the economy from overheating too quickly here. So we'll keep an eye on interest rates as well. On deck today, I mentioned General Motors, got Hilton, there's Allstate, Etsy set to report coming up after market tonight. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at a positive start, as I mentioned, to the day here. The NASDAQ, leading right now, 0.7 to the upside. We had the Dow 0.2, S&P just 0.4 in positive territory right now. We'll see how things play out as we head towards the open. Bitcoin 1.2% back in positive territory. Bit of a pullback here for Ethereum after record highs yesterday. More positivity, though, I think, in general for the crypto space, guys. We'll talk about that obviously coming up. Good morning. It's Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Happy May 5th. If you're joining us for the first time, guys, we do this every single morning. The market is open, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and then come back tomorrow, and we do it all again. And even this afternoon at 3:15, we'll be back on, guys. But anyways, lots to get to this morning, lots of earnings to talk about. Positive report from GM. Nice move here so far.
Absolutely. Man, I was about to get a chance to correct Reddit. I was like, no, come back in the afternoon, and then you corrected yourself because that's how you roll. What are the five greatest cryptocurrencies of all time? Dogecoin, and Dogecoin, I guess, maybe, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, breaking towards that 70, it's absolutely an unbelievable run that's been on. So, you know, it is what it is. I can't say unlimited supply be damned is the best way to think about it here, but momentum is momentum, and it certainly has a ton of it today. Earnings, I think, are going to be a little bit led by watching that Uber Lyft. I mean, of course, the Uber is going to be aftermarket. We're going to be watching a little bit of that going into today. I tend to think that there's going to be some hangover in a few of the small caps that we're running. I'm actually in short a few of them right now, just seeing them start to roll over a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And of course, Activision holding on to some gains, but I don't know, we're not as strong in the pre-market as I've seen just yet. So tempering my expectations a tiny little bit there, but that should be an active one today, Sean.
Yeah. Someone said, what do you mean guess Dogecoin is one of the... I mean, Dogecoin probably is the best cryptocurrency.
I was joking.
I know.
Okay,
but
you know the... Okay.
I'm just saying, of all time, probably it is the best of all time. And I can't believe we're saying that because, again, like Neil mentioned there, the utility of Dogecoin. But congratulations, man. Today it's 67. Like, it just touched out 68 cents. Like, I was just talking about this yesterday at 40 and change. So, wow. 58. I think it was 59 maybe yesterday's high, but 68 today, 69. Congratulations, guys. I mean, if you just dropped in like $100 in this thing in November, like, how much is that worth now? The math. Remember we put you guys to the test on the math, but that's a hard one because it was 0.0005 or something like that. Like it was a tenth of 1 penny, and now you're up to 70 cents almost. Congratulations, guys. We talked also about Uber yesterday. And you know, possibly buying some calls into that Lyft number and then into Uber tonight. And you can see here, big time movement to the upside. But look at this. I just tweeted this out. I think this is one of the biggest stories you'll ever hear in the next little while anyways. And I really, really hope that there's no truth to this. But if Fed Chair Jerome Powell leaves, then this market, you think you think that this market is going down now. Janet Yellen is a horrible Federal Reserve. She screwed up 2015. Now she's trying to go the opposite way on Powell here on inflation. Good luck. Congratulations, Joe Biden. You got yourself a great one there in Janet Yellen. I am not a fan of this move. You're seeing the market. It's not, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but there's the market. So whether or not they agree with me or not, who knows? But the market coming to the downside, that's a horrible, horrible story. I may start to think about, if this is true here, that Powell may be eliminated and he won't even be stepping down. He'll be replaced there. Then I think that you got to start selling some of your positions.
All right, well, yeah, keep an eye on things here. Starting to get a little more negative once again. We were up better part of 0.5% to start the day, but all the way back to 0.35 at the moment. So one of those days where we're coming off the negativity yesterday. We'll see if we can kind of hold some levels here as far as support is concerned. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, guys. I wish you a green, profitable day and kindly asking you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's get it started, guys. Before we get into what the market is doing here, worth mentioning, fans of Jessica Alba, the actress, Honest Company coming to the market today, guys. HNST. On the NASDAQ here, an IPO. It's not huge. It's about 450 million, 460 million, but worth a look possibly if it does come out before the show ends. But Honest Company coming to the NASDAQ today, which is interesting. Wanted to ask you guys as well, thoughts on Tilray today, the Aphria-Tilray combination completed as of yesterday. We'll get Tilray trading here in Toronto for the first time today. Is there going to be a move now in this?
I tend to lean to no. I mean, a lot of times you see the completion of the deal, and then it's usually a little bit sleepier action post that. So apologies, guys. I was actually looking at Uber here in the pre-market. Of course, they report aftermarket, but I'm not necessarily thinking there's going to be too big of a move until we'll probably monitor it a little bit. I know some people were talking about Sundial. I don't see it really doing much of anything as well today. The symbol is over. On our charts, just so you guys know, if I pull it up in Toronto, it's not going to have any. You're not going to have any prior action to it. So, you know, that's one of those things when you have a symbol turnover. We're going to still have to look at it over in the U.S. Just to be sure that we can, show you some historical charts over there. It's on the radar, but I'm literally expecting nothing to be happening in terms of volatility in Tilray. I'd be a little bit shocked if it was too big of a mover. The closing of the deal usually doesn't do a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it was going to move, you'd see something moving over here in the main. I mean, I guess they're both, top tier listings, NASDAQ and Toronto. So Tilray today, 1 point, I don't know, where we at? I mean, it looks like we're up slightly. My chart not loading here right now, but Tilray obviously now up a little bit today, up that 1.06%. Not doing a whole hell of a lot, man. 16.25. We'll see what happens with it. But I heard SNDL maybe is moving a little bit. I saw some talk. I didn't even look at it, but someone was mentioning maybe they were moving a little bit here. Come on, chart. SNDL up 5% there on some acquisitions. So I don't know. I would look at it. I like Aphria. Aphria was, Canopy's my largest holding. Aphria was, I think, my second largest holding. So I've sort of stopped looking at the cannabis space for a while. And like I said, I only want to look at that when it wakes up. So right now it's just kind of sleepy, waiting for some more legislation like we keep talking about. So until cannabis really is on everyone's mind again, I think you sort of got to leave these names alone until they start to ride. SNDL with already 7 million shares today, sure. That one's going to be in play as you can see. And this is what I'm talking about. Wait, just wait, bide your time. I don't know if this kind of a move is going to happen again. Remember, this was when everybody was looking for shorting, looking for shortables, and they got the GameStop and the AMC, and then of course marijuana got some positive news around this time as well, late February or early February, late January. But moves like this will happen again. I don't know what price we should be buying SNDL at, because again, just back in October it was 15 cents. So to say it's a deal now at 83, the same thing is true of all of the cannabis names. The only one I like, Grow Generation, we've talked about that. I like Scott's Miracle Grow, we've talked about that as well. SMG, these are just sort of side plays. We can call up SMG quickly here. I think it's on New York though. There it is, yeah, on New York. It's been a nice little runner. They had earnings, I think, a week or so ago, maybe SMG. I remember reading something about them up and down and around here. Yeah, maybe 250 back down. So I like this play. And then the big one, if you do like to hold something that will directly relate to any sort of legislation, then I do like Canopy, which is CGC, Brendan.
Yeah, SMG with earnings, as you mentioned there. This is, we can show the headline here, guys, for Sundial. ISH, or Inner Spirit Holdings, being acquired by Sundial for $131 million. They are in the retail side of things, so Sundial kind of expanding, getting more products, or the ability to get more products of their own into the retail side of things. So worth a watch here for SNDL today. Let's bring in Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies, joining us once again on a Wednesday. Lots to get through. Good morning, Mark. Busy morning once again as far as earnings are concerned. I want to kind of shift the focus today and talk specifically about tech stocks. It's quite apparent what's been happening and continues to happen over the past couple of days here with this sell-off continuing in tech. Let's kind of go through this move, first of all, from yesterday. We saw all the big names to the downside. Tell me if there's one or two that you like better than the rest and where we should start paying attention here. Let's forget about the why things are going to the downside, but where do things start getting interesting for some of these tech stocks?
I think it depends on your holding period. If you're very long-term, nibbling on these kind of pullbacks look quite interesting. I was looking at the Qs, that's the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100. It's quickly approaching its 50-day, which is 324. I'm a little skeptical that we won't get more of a sell-off in the coming days. I was listening to Leon Cooperman, famed strategist and investor. He thinks that the market has structurally broken. I'm not sure I'd go that far, but I'm starting to see a lot of names, especially in the solar stocks and some others, that money had been advancing quite quickly and has been coming out in droves. So I worry that the tech sell-off isn't done. We'll have to see what happens after the earnings today. You had ATVI last night trading at 93. You had Lyft last night. It's trading up $2. Uber's coming out. But I think you have to give these stocks a few days to see if they can hold their gains.
As far as technicals are concerned, we talk all the time about looking for these areas that in the past have drawn interest from the buy side. There's a lot of these stocks, and I mean, you go into some of the chip names, there's a lot of them that are already trading at the bottom end of these ranges. If there are, if there is more negativity to come, do we see these, significant levels break? I'm talking specifically about an AMD, or there's multiple chip names that look very similar on a daily time frame. What do we need to see to kind of signal support coming back into these?
Personally, I'm not sure what you're going to see because earnings are going to be over quite soon. The question is, do you start to believe the analysts that may have been a bit exuberant on their recommendations and their levels? Yes, earnings came in pretty well. The chip makers, you're going to have the shortages for the next 6, 8, 12 weeks. That's not going to change. And from that dust, if you will, you'll see the strong names that you want to be in. But I think you have time on your hands.
All right, so 2% to the downside yesterday for the overall NASDAQ. I mean, we're up 0.3 on the ES right now. Not much of a bounce so far. What do you see for the market today?
I think you're going to have to wait and see what happens after Europe closes around 11:30. And if they can hold the gains of up 16 on the S&P right now, I'd be thrilled. They came within 1.5 points of my support yesterday on the sell-off, but I wasn't a buyer.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us once again today. The chat right now is blowing up a little bit because of what I just said. I don't know if you heard what I said there about Janet Yellen and Fed Chair Powell. I actually have it up here on Twitter if you guys can show the screen. It's an article from Bloomberg. There it is right there. Yeah, and it's just Fed Chair Jerome Powell and then the vice chairs as well could possibly all be replaced in the coming year. And of course, and then the headline is just that this jittery over inflation fears right now. So, I mean, we've seen Yellen come out sort of, I don't want to say crush the market yesterday. I don't think the market's getting crushed. I mean, you and Brendan just talked a little bit about that. But where are we if Powell does get replaced here, and then all of a sudden Janet Yellen's, has some sort of influence maybe on who replaces the Fed chair, so on and so forth. And I know that, how it's supposed to work and not supposed to work. But the idea is if the new government here is thinking that, hey, inflation is going to be a problem, which is sort of the opposite of Powell, right? Right now, he thinks everything will get itself figured out, which is letting the market sort of breathe. Where do you think we go, man, if Jerome Powell and his team get replaced there at the Fed?
I think it would be a disservice if he gets replaced. He should be signed on for another term. As far as the other members, whatever they're up, I'm not sure as much about them, but Mr. Biden needs confidence at this point because it's languishing with all of these trillion-dollar packages. I think Mr. Powell stays on. I think Janet Yellen was a disgrace yesterday, and I speak strongly because she was a Fed chair. She should know better that words do carry power, and she made a massive boo-boo.
Yeah, perfect. So I was going to try to find an applaud button or a cheer button or something for you because I'm really glad that we are on the same page. And look, sometimes people don't really share their, true opinions because they're scared to make them. Not me, right? Not you right there. So thank you so much. Here's a picture of the ES, a picture, it's called a chart, Sean, of the ES. You can see let's replace the Fed Reserve right now. This is a monthly chart here on the ES. Sure, we get that dip. We know about all the dips that's happened in here, but look at this move. It's been an epic climb back to the upside. So I'm with you. I don't think that we need to be replacing anybody at this time. Give us a couple names, Mark, today that are on your watch. You've talked about Lyft for a very long time, as well as Uber. Both those names may be worth watching today?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm still looking at, let's see here. I've shifted a little bit. I'm looking at Bungie, BG, ADM, Archer Daniels in that food space, right, with corn going up to $7. CVS, stellar quarter, still high on my list. Danier DHR in that healthcare space. UPS doesn't give it up at all. I think the airlines will come back a bit. They slipped yesterday. They should be okay. And there's a lot of chatter that NVDA is worth $800. Yep. I'm not necessarily a believer yet, but I certainly want to start following NVDA.
Yeah, I know NVIDIA is a big part of my portfolio. I prefer AMD, but NVIDIA I think would be the number one. I just want to talk about a new name there that you just gave us that we've never really looked at. And as I look at a chart here, of course, Bungie's, if I'm not correct, I think agricultural, food supply, things like that. But yeah, big time movement upside. We know the prices of ag and stuff like that going nuts right now. This is the 50-period moving average, and it's just loved this thing all the way up and a nice little break there. Are we not too high here, or is this a play on pricing and sort of maybe even a little bit of the inflation trade?
Yeah, this is all of what you just said. So I'm waiting for a little bit of a give back somewhere in that 85, 86 area. I think this is a nice home run for the next few months.
Yeah, now that you bring that up, I'm trying to get into some of that space as well. CVS yesterday, a decent report, obviously with some of the vaccines. I think they're the number one sort of distributor, I guess, a provider there to the American public of the vaccine. What a great break. And this is what we talk about all the time on the show, Mark, especially with you and what I do with my viewers all the time. I'm not huge into technical analysis other than some of the key points that I'm always bringing up, but I love breakouts. And there it is, man. CVS had a hard time breaking through 76, 77, and what a nice move up to 82, 83. You believe there's more legs?
Yeah, I do. I think everybody's going to have a booster shot.
Yep.
So right there, if nothing else. Another name you might want to look at is NTR.
Yep.
That's also in that space of agricultural chemicals.
You said TR, sorry?
Nancy, Tom, Robert.
Yep, got that too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, this to me also, yeah, maybe more work need to be done by mine, looking at this. But right here, yeah, you do have a 60. This kind of looks like that CVS chart where it's trying to bump up against a level, and then the break happens, and we get some nice movement. I'm going to assume, Mark, that you're not a holder of Dogecoin.
I am not.
Yeah, me neither. Damn it.
Not yet. Many of my friends are, but
Really?
I'm not there yet.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I've been watching crypto forever and forever, and the thing is like I never was able to see the value. I don't know if there is one still in that coin. Like we talked about it off the top. Neil talked about unlimited supply, things like that. It seems crazy, but hey, man, we cannot fight the tape. 68 cents, Mark. This thing was like a tenth of a penny in November. So someone said if you had $1,000, you turned it into $156,000 in just over 6 months. So that's quite a big move and a nice move to the upside. But yeah, I didn't think you were a holder there of any Doge coins, but thought I'd give that a shot. Any last words for any of our viewers out there?
Tread lightly, keep your stops tight.
Yep, exactly. Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies, thank you so much, my friend. Always a pleasure. And some of the new names that you brought to us today, absolutely killer. Mark Roberts, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, upgrades and downgrades for today. Yeah, Mark was talking about NVIDIA, not on this board. We'll talk about it, though. It is on the watch list this morning. It was Baird with a positive look on NVIDIA. However, Exxon, Under Armour we were looking at yesterday, if you remember, Pfizer, and yep, lift on here up nicely in the pre-market here. We'll get to that. Zillow, another one that reported, and Race, Ferrari, back to the downside today, guys.
Yeah, Race. Ferrari getting beaten up a little bit here, guys, and Pfizer. We can talk a little bit about Pfizer a little bit later on. There was someone was saying in here in DTTW, we were in the chat, and someone was saying, Neil, please don't short the stock. Here's a quick thing about. It's done 5 million shares DPW, right? And it's likely going to do tens of millions of shares of volume today. And one of the things about these gappers and runners is if it's going to go up, it's going to go up. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing or what any day trader is doing, to be perfectly honest with you. And the fact that you have day traders looking at a pattern like this, like short VWAP, and then maybe we hold this cluster that I'm concerned with at 1525. When that happens, and more people are seeing a pattern liking the short, that just makes for more explosive up moves. Why? Because shorters have to cover. They're more likely to be weaker hands in terms of relative to a swing trader, right? So those shorts getting out of that short-term trade is a good sign and a good mover. And that's often why, like if you see me get beaten up on something through the high of the day, or I don't average in at 925, sometimes it turns out into a good-looking long position, and that's not a coincidence. So I mean, people get into that whole like we're not like a hedge fund sitting there piling in shorts every single day. That's not what day traders are doing, and a lot of times the activity of short sellers can be a good thing for those people that are holding swing positions. Just wanted to get that one out there. And this DPW is forming that little pattern. I was waiting for 345s up here, sorry, 343s up here again. It just turned off for 340. At some point, if it actually holds one of these lows without making a lower low, I consider not trying to get back in before the open, but it's a pretty clear pattern to short these pops in the pre-market.
I just want to identify, so Ty C here. Look, I can't see the question, so what I'm going to try to do is, as I'm talking to Mark or any sort of guest, we're going to have a system here where if there is something on the chat, like I did see the yell and stuff, and of course I was getting, I'm not heated about it, but I have that opinion on that. So that sort of took up some of the time, but I will on Friday 100% ask Mark what he thinks about some precious metals, and then you wanted to know about uranium specifically. So we'll ask him that. Maybe I'll even send him an email and see if I can get something for him. But I'm a man of the people, so keeping it real with you guys, Ty C, I'm here for you, buddy.
All right, let's get into what is moving around in the pre-market this morning, guys. If you haven't done so already, that is the link you need to visit and register for the absolutely free to you every single day watch list. We do all your homework for you, and then you come join us at 8:30 and we discuss what we are going to do with these stocks that have some sort of news. The first one, Lyft. I mentioned when we came in this morning, all you have to do is lose less, and it ends up being a positive. So Lyft, with a smaller loss than expected in its current quarter, significantly smaller, in fact, about half, 50%. It was around 70 million, 73 million versus 144 that was expected. So good look here for Lyft, guys.
Yeah, and there was two things that we highlighted about Lyft going into earnings. One, of course, was the flush they had in the 29th, which gave you a bit of a bottom area that it was trying to hold, and maybe a few extra shares that might have been involved in selling that positive news, or selling the report, weren't going to be there. The other thing was the selling off of their autonomous business, which gives them a faster path to profitability, which they're still saying is coming quickly for them. So they haven't changed any of that. The market seems to like it. It's also that reopen play. All that being said, I bought Uber last week, not Lyft. We'll see if that ends up being actually a good decision. And it was more so to do with the flush that was on the 29th and that quick recovery the next day. We'll see what happens, whether or not it can follow through. I was looking, and I tend to prefer trading Uber just because it's about liquidity. Lyft post earnings have done 377,000 shares pre-market, and that's actually a good number at this time of day with 30 minutes going into the open. So as much as I can look at defending like a 58 area, which seems pretty reasonable to me, I go back and look at on that day of the flush, and the second day couldn't break through that 58. That was the high of the day, was resistance. It is now possibly turning into a bit of a pivot point. We're right here. Right now, if you can hold that price, I like 58 as a key go sign. I don't like a 60 break. I'd much rather look at a breakout potentially in Uber off the open than on Lyft, which will be thinly traded with a bigger spread.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a buyer of Uber. We talked about that. I'm still not in it, so I guess you're going to be close to being flat on last week's buy. Right now, I like Uber better than Lyft just because. Again, Lyft isn't as diversified, which is actually a good thing for Lyft. They talked about getting to be profitable there in Q3, and they talked about how much they like their current position. So good. But Uber right now up that 2.5%. We tweeted that out yesterday that there's a big potential here tonight for Uber. So let's see where they guide. I like it. What I've tweeted out here was this 56 break. We didn't take anything. There's no way you take a stock like Uber or Lyft in the pre-market, in my opinion. I think if you're going to do anything in the pre-market, you take something that's a little more liquid, like you see me in Ford. How much is that going to go up or down? I still like this 56 level for a break. Obviously, it's pretty solid. It's held there. So you know what? I like Uber. Earnings today. Very, very dangerous trading stock into earnings. So you may not want to get long or short this one today, which is why I said if you want to get some of the volatility, you can take an option going into today, into maybe a weekly trade, Friday expiry. You don't want to put that much on the line. But I do like Uber right now. I like it better than Lyft. And I have 61 written down for a Lyft break and 56 for an Uber break. But let's just check quickly here on the imbalance locator just to see. I mean, it's a sleepy time right now. It's only 9 o'clock, so hopefully this will get ramped up. But I don't remember the last time. I mean, we're going to talk about GM in a minute. I don't remember the last time that we didn't have anything over 200,000. So pretty weak right here. It's like Neo, Rocket. We'll talk about that. I have some nice levels on that one, hopefully coming through as well. But yeah, so far kind of uneventful morning as the market tries to figure out what's happening here with Yellen and the Fed and yada yada, NASDAQ.
All right, one more note to mention, guys, on both of these, Uber and Lyft. The Wall Street Journal reporting that Biden hasn't yet, but will block the Trump-era gig worker rule that he put into place that could be a positive for these as well. So maybe, possibly another little catalyst there to keep an eye on throughout the session for both Uber and Lyft. Let's get a look at the overall market. We'll bring in Arun here and talk about the futures a little. We are trying to bounce ever so slightly. I mentioned we got back down to about 0.3%, but the overall feeling here, Arun, a little bit weak once again.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've come up quite a bit ever since, I guess, the latter half of yesterday. We've been pretty much going straight up since we bottomed out around that 4120 area. Now, here we are back in that area where we kind of broke down yesterday. So yesterday morning, I came on and said, if we get below the 57 mark, underneath 60, just because there were some stops there before, if we can actually get back underneath there, shorts were in play. And if we did, I would use 75 as a stop. Now, 41.75 is the stop that I use, and 41.75 is where we are right now. you could consider it broken, but not yet. I'm seeing a decent amount of activity above this 41.75 area. Makes me think there's some selling going on here. There's some activity that I want to pay attention to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that stop that I had from yesterday to 41.80. So 41.80 is a new level I'm looking at. If we can get above there, I think any idea of a short has to be put on hold for now. But I really want to see what happens here in this 41.75 area. If we can get below 70, though, I think if we get below 70, we can actually take a shot at the short with 41.80 as a stop. If we get above 41.80, then I think all you can really do is kind of let the market play out, find a level that it's going to work with, and then figure out what you're going to do from there. I see 42.15 as the top end, and I have nothing underneath, pretty much all the way down to 41.20. So if we break 70, then possible shorts. But if we break 80, 41.80 to the upside, I think I'll just be in a holding pattern and just waiting to see how this plays out. If we get close to the 4,200, maybe there's a short there. But again, it's all about, for me right now, I'm bracketing the trade in between 41.80 and 41.70 to see what we do, which direction we're going to go in. I have shorts available if we get below that 70 area, but if we get above 80, I'm just going to have to sit and wait.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. Yeah, important levels, I feel, for today. As far as the futures are concerned, we'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Under 30 minutes to go, guys, before we get to the open this morning. Let's continue along with what is moving in the pre-market here. Activision Blizzard, you may have heard Mark Roberts mention it there briefly. The quarter was okay. I mean, as we saw, kind of coming back a little bit here, guys, as far as pre-market action, volume a little on the light side for ATVI as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we talked about this one earlier on in the week, Activision here, and I was kind of expecting it would, well, I mean, it's actually held up a little bit nicely, but the volume, like you said, isn't necessarily the greatest in the world. And I'm sort of looking at this, and I was watching an iceberg level here at 93.75 and saying to myself, oh, that's fantastic. Like there was a bit of a turn in the aftermarket below 93.50. So it'd be great if it just kind of holds that above. It sort of sets you up for, you know, like a 95 breakout, or maybe just even a long position, like a fade into that 95 breakout, which can be an interesting one. Just to quickly go over to the daily chart, you are sort of approaching, and we're back below it, but I mean, you're approaching right back here to the 50 period, you're about like 30 or 40 cents away from it. So there's another reason why I think there was all that gravity around 93.75 there. I tend to think if you're going to mount a defense, I'm looking at first at like 92s and then a little bit deeper into, you know, call it like the 90.5 to 91 area. I still like the 95 break. I would have liked it a heck of a lot more if we were holding 93.75 going into it. There's still a decent chance that we can get back above this level, press into 94, and then in the open, you're sort of looking at that as your entry point, and then you've got a bit of cover to that trade. So, you know, I'd much rather be using a tight stop in and around that 93.75 and 94 as an out to a 95 break, just given that Activision isn't always the most liquid. It's not always going to be the highest volume name in the world. So I'd rather not be giving it, you know, like $3 or $4. I'd rather, hey, it goes right away, fantastic. That lack of liquidity or that lack of volume works in your favor to the upside. But if you don't have that tight stop, I don't like that setup unless we're, you know, sort of getting into that last half an hour, getting into this half an hour to the open above that 93.75. So 95 is a great level. I'll probably have to look at the dip buy on Activision, but I'm sort of going bullish on the stock today. I'm not going to try shorting it, even though there's a chance, of course, if it does a dip buy, it means I could short it right now. And my plan is to either buy the break or look for that little dip.
Yeah, we've already put up on here, guys, for ATVI. It's right in the middle there. Raises forward sales and then a 95 break for sure. So that's the idea to go with there on that name. And then yesterday, like I tweeted at you guys. I don't know if you guys were sleeping already. It was already 6 or 7 o'clock. But may the 4th be with you. Yesterday, the wife got this cake decorating kit there, and then I'm gonna stick to my day job because this is what I did here. I don't like green mouth. I don't know. We only had 3 colors there, and that's what that is. And thank you again for everybody that saw that tweet. And we'll move on. The reason why I was on there is because I wanted to also talk. Palantir's not on our list, but I do see a lot of people talking once again about Palantir. And I'm showing you some love here on Twitter as well, Brendo. Follow Brendan for sure, guys. You can see here Palantir Cellularity enters into yet again another multi-year strategic partnership with Palantir. So the name that we all love, maybe, bouncing again today. So Palantir up. I thought it was up a little bit more. Maybe it was when it was near 22, but basically that 1% today could still fall like a rock. But again, Palantir, a very, very popular stock, more popular than I thought. And I guess we did end our, if I can find it, we did end our vote. Here it is right here. We ended our vote yesterday, and there it is right there. Palantir takes out Snowflake, Airbnb, and Roblox for the next 5 years. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Of course, my two picks are Palantir, blah, 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 and Snowflake. So have a look there. Airbnb, obviously, much love. I'm surprised Roblox also tied Snowflake, but there it is, guys. Thank you there. We almost got to 1K on that poll, so thank you so much for the love there. But yeah, Palantir, hey, just another day.
Yeah, we can show you this note here that came out this morning, as I mentioned early on, Cellularity. So it's a multi-year deal. They're actually picking up an equity stake, it looks like, in this agreement. So the partnership includes, you can see right there, equity investment by Palantir into Cellularity to the tune of about 100 million. So yeah, a little bit of news there to keep in mind. Let's go to the big tech names. Yesterday, bad day for the NASDAQ. As we said, 2% to the downside. A lot of these anywhere from 2% to like 4.5% on the worst case scenarios. But some of them looking a little bit strong this morning, guys. Do we get a bounce in any of these? Yeah, pick one from the box there.
Well, I mean, you can take your pick. The weird thing is a name that's not going to be there that I like today is actually going to be that NVIDIA, as we mentioned with Mark. If you have to look at levels, and I talk about if it's going to follow the market, I tend to lean into Apple, at least a little bit here. And again, it's not to say that it's a, oh, come on, daily chart, don't do that to me. Okay, I'll go to my 15. Apple doesn't want to load here. Anyways, it's not to say that you have to have this following the market necessarily, but I look at this like tight cluster that Apple is in, and as much as we had a watershed sort of day yesterday, I would suspect that if there is any selling going into the market, I mean, I'd like to be defending yesterday's close price and something like an Apple. But the other way to look at it is, look at the actual Qs, at the same time, right? Like what I'd like to see happening overall in the ES and the NASDAQ is if you're getting Apple off of that bottom, I'd like to see maybe that it's holding off of that low, and maybe it's overselling a little bit. So if it's overselling relative to the market, and I have a chance that it holds a level, and then the market actually bounces shy low, it is not breaking one of these, call it like yesterday's low in the ES, or maybe looking at the NASDAQ, same thing. As long as that's not happening when you're catching the bottom, I'll be liking Apple to express that kind of a trade. As far as the rest of the tech goes, I do like NVIDIA today with that upgrade, so I'll be probably looking to play into that one. And I tend not to have, if I'm playing over in the tech space, even if it's one of the chip makers, I don't know at the open if I want to have too many of them at the same time. So likely to have NVIDIA as the actual trade, though.
Yeah, I like Softy breaking. I mean, Softy's on the list there. It's breaking through 250. So that's, it's sort of an easy one. I can't believe this dropped yesterday down to 246. So we do have that kind of bottom right there at 246, battling right now through 249. Already up, Microsoft today, only 0.5% there. But this is the 20-minute chart. So breaking back through 250 could be a spot. Back down into 248 as well here, in case the NASDAQ does not want to shine today. We can get this back to 248. It's at 249 right now. So I like a Microsoft bid there. You can also catch a 247 bid, maybe, and then just watch out if we come. I mean, I don't know. The market's going to have to scream to get down here, I think, back down to 246. So that's why I like Microsoft to be built into a position down here. And anywhere below 248.50, I think, can be recommended for me on a buy with Microsoft.
Brennan, I want to jump at this at ATN. I know ATNX, the Phoenix, is going to be near the end of our list. Now, they did make an acquisition of Core. It's about 185 million. It's mostly, there's going to be some shares involved up front, like 70 million. You can read it on our watch list. Make sure you're following along. I was trading a rollover in this stock when it broke this low at 510 and then retested it. So I was shorting above $5. That was a trade. It looked great. I was getting up 490s. Then all of a sudden, you see this level here at 5? That's because of this order. Now this order, it was about 500,000 shares, started following it downside from about like 510 or so, and then just plunked itself on the offer at 5, which totally changed the dynamic of shorting off of the level. Now suddenly it turns into a scalp it to the low, which is 480 at this point, and then, you know, like a tight stop trade here, 97, 98, that kind of a thing. And it was over 50,000 shares, over 500,000, or 500,000 shares, over 500,000. It's now down to 400,000. If it breaks on pure momentum, I'm just going to get out of the trade, take a couple pennies of a hit, walk away up on the session, and then look for a test higher. So I like the rollover when I was above that 5 price. It was a much better entry point, but I can't ignore the fact that this order is there to get filled, and if it does happen in the pre-market, I'd rather not get caught up. I have a good stop that'll probably hit at 01, so I really don't have any issues like taking that hit, but that seller is still there. If it holds at the open, that could see a quick test of 475, which is the key level on that ATNX.
All right, just seeing another analyst move here on Lyft. In this case, it's worth mentioning on basically anything with earnings. There's going to be multiple analyst moves. UBS just coming out here with a price target increase. Top right corner up here, you can see 270 from 65 for Lyft. So another heads up there for Lyft. Let's go to General Motors. Out this morning with stronger than expected Q1 results, beat right across the board. Better numbers out of China. They also reaffirmed their prior full year guidance for GM. So positive here for some of these automakers in the pre-market.
Yeah, positive and holding highs. Now GM has broken through, so like that 57 mark, you're going to see that here. I have a couple of dip buys that I really like that are probably not coming into favor at this point as you want to write these down, we're sort of consolidating around this 57, like 25-ish area, sort of setting up for maybe a little bit of a pullback into the open, where I was going to be in love with, sort of call it starting at like 56, 56.50 or so, like you get these levels here, and then maybe testing down through to the quarter, and then pick this one up on the dip. Now, obviously, when you have this kind of a flush through and then recovery, I'm always looking for a test of the next level up, which is that 58, so there's still some room to go. I much prefer buying some dips on this one, so I have to look at afternoon pre-market tops, 57 even on GM in particular. I know Sean's actually in Ford as we speak, but it's a similar sort of play here. You know, the fact that the expectation is that, yes, okay, we know about the chip shortage. Okay, their cash position, they're letting you guys know 1.5 billion to 2 billion is going to be effect on their cash position. They're expecting this not to last more than the next couple of quarters or so before things get back into gear. And at this particular time, I think everyone's digested that factor in. And of course, some of the chip makers, Taiwan Semiconductor came out already saying that they expect to get this under control in the next 4 to 6 months. So I like GM. I'd prefer to be buying that little dip. The litmus changed when it made this move about 20 or so minutes ago into 58. So I've just sort of moved up where I want to be buying in front of that support. So I'll call it 57s now. I liked the 50 cents lower before, but the momentum clearly heading back towards the upside on GM. And I know you're in that Ford trade, which is of course related, Sean.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, guys, for all that. The sticky note is straight fire. We really appreciate that. I'm just happy that it's caught fire with all of you guys there. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, Ford, look, we like it so much. We're already in this name. It had nothing really to do with this break there. I mean, it was just that I came in, I wanted to go long there. I saw the good news on GM. And yeah, we already have the 57.50 break going. It already happened there. So damn it. Yeah, we looked at GM early. And this is the thing, like I got to take these breaks a little earlier. This is the 1 minute. So yeah, I have to refresh. We had a data problem there. But GM, the reason why I like that 50.50 break, here's a real 3 minute chart. Like there it is, 57.50. It was just a level that I was looking at. It just breaks it just now. So upside here on GM. Let's see how far this guy wants to fly. I want to get long this name. It's just I got to wait for the pullback in, similar to what we just talked about with Microsoft. But if we're talking Ford, the level I wrote down for Ford was, here it is. It's right off the top here. 1165, right? And I said I wanted to average down into about 1125. So we do have, that's just yesterday's bottom, basically 1125. So if we do have to, we'll do that. But it doesn't look like that's going to be a problem. And then we do have the top break of 1165 here on Ford. But your boy's already got a nice little winner right now. So we will punch this one in the face and see if it can hold some of these profits. Let's take off like 10% at 51 and put that 5 cents in our pocket because we've seen this come back down. GM call 10 a.m.
Yeah, worth noting and worth keeping an eye on when we get to 10 o'clock this morning. Let's go to NVIDIA. Updated their current quarter guidance to the upside as well, and it's Baird, as we mentioned, upgrading the stock to, or initiating coverage on the stock with an overweight rating. Something you don't see a lot. Typically, they initiate coverage with a buy or a sell, but never with the kind of highest level that they tend to go to. And as Mark was saying, still 40% upside possible in NVIDIA.
I mean, he's using that number off that $800 call, but I mean, whatever, who cares? What's her name there? Kathy Wood made the call of what, was it 3,500 for Tesla? So it's the same kind of thing. That's 400% upside, 500% upside from now. But okay, NVIDIA, no, look, good call. I've been loving the chips for a while, but it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, but I mean, it's just like if someone comes out now and upgrades AMD, upgrades NVIDIA, like they're in the right space, they're the right topics, they've fallen down. If you do believe in this market rebound, then it's a no-brainer to pick up some NVIDIA, some AMD. So here's the move down. We come close to touching. I don't know if that actually touched yesterday, 560, but I mean, what a great move that was to the downside. If you get it anywhere near this 50-period moving average, it's a guarantee. So I would say you take that no matter what. And yeah, anything upside here on NVIDIA breaking is probably going to be good. For me, I prefer, and again, we don't have an AMD on our list, but the 79.75 break on NVIDIA, I like just a little bit better. We're coming near VWAP. This has been, or sorry, that's a 50 period. This has been a big move down as well, man, from 95, I guess 92-ish, down to 78 yesterday. So let's watch out for AMD more than NVIDIA for me.
Yeah, just looking at that 650 top. I mean, if you do the math and go back at the open at yesterday when it crushed to the downside, that's a 10% retracement, 65 down to 585. So when that level breaks, it's because that's sort of expected support and the momentum in the market. You're going to crush it downside. So the fact that you're recovering right back into that 585 and then you get the upgrade. That's most of the reason why I like NVIDIA today. It's just holding that 585 level. I mean, you look back even like the pre-market lows here at 582 is a bit of cover for yourself there as well. So, you know, all that says, I'm going to like this NVIDIA play. Obviously, you're going to have already broken this 87 a couple of times. I don't like trading NVIDIA pre-market. The spreads tend to open up a little bit on you there. I would much prefer if I get a chance to get 585 exactly. That's fair at 830. Otherwise, I'm looking for an even dollar break off of 830 with those 82 to 85 ranges. Your bit of cover. If there's a scalp trade that maybe takes you into like 95s, I'd start looking at maybe buying some dips on NVIDIA. It's one of those where I've never really had any success in this particular name trading at pre-market, so I would tend to shy away from a pre-market trade here, but we're pretty close to that open, so gonna get those orders locked and loaded for 9:30.
Let's go to Skills, one of the recent, not high flyers, but it's been very, very active, a lot of attention on this SKLZ. They're in the e-commerce side of things for gamers. They reported earnings. You can see aftermarket yesterday, was a lot to do about nothing. They tested lower, they tested higher, and ended up basically right where we were at the end of the day. We were actually negative here, 1.6% versus the close yesterday for the Skills guys.
Right. I don't have, it's not moving, so for me, it's not even worth looking at for me.
The fact that it's not moving, I think, is not necessarily the best sign in the world. I mean, to be honest, you had a little volatility going into the close. If it can't hold like a 1650, I'd try. That's the only thing I was looking at here. Like, I would love to have had a long setup, but I mean, the fact that it can't seem to hold to the upside sort of screams at me that if you get a shot at 1650 breakdown, I mean, you're only risking necessarily on this tight range till about 85, 35 cents worth of risk. Given the volatility that's in it, it's hard to ignore that trade. It's not at the top of my list. I'm in 3 shorts. I'm looking at NVIDIA off the open. It can't say remotely that it's the top of my list, but it's the only thing I saw.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for most of the larger names that are on the list this morning. There's a number of small caps that we can look at. This DTW, as Neil's been mentioning. There's IBIO as well that announced a new licensing agreement for one of their drugs. Ocugen as well. We've been talking about Ocugen over the past couple of days in regards to a COVID-19 vaccine or positive data with a partner that they teamed up with. They are set to report tonight for OCGN. Maybe we can look at that, guys.
Yeah. You want to look at names off reporting? Yeah, OCGN, a big one. I have another one here that's people talked about on the chat and that we cannot leave alone because it continues to be a banger. I was making some really great trades on NEO lately. We wait for the dip buys in the morning, which has happened. So, some mornings the dips don't stop. But yesterday you had a big dip, obviously, in the NASDAQ down to that 37 level, magical level where we took the long 37 and was able to absolutely crush it. We did that on Uber and on NEO yesterday. So looking for the same kind of thing today, but look at this 38.50 level all the way back to, you can always go far back, but if you want to go back to April 21st, which is only last 2 weeks, I guess, ago, that's sort of where we stopped right at the close there. 38.50 jumped up and then just kept going to 43 off that point. So we have 38.50 right here again, staring it in the face. I like that long. If you see me get into it early, I probably will take that break right off the open. But again, because we know that it drops relatively easily, I'm looking for it to retrace back to like this. 38.50. If the market's going to be up this 1% today, or I think it gets to 1% anyways, then I don't think we see this 37.50. But the thing is, you got to line your bids down here. So let's wait to see if we get to 37.50 on NEO today. I'll take a 38.50 break just in case the market screams off open. But I'm not going to put everything I want, maybe 30%, maybe 20% into that trade. And then if we can build something near 38, near 37.50, and then we'll get out if that does break because we don't want to have a monster loser. And then we'll wait to see what happens at 37. But for me, NEO is definitely pricing out right today. Let's see where it goes.
So the bit of a volume spike in PRPO. This one from yesterday's action. Remember their antibody test available on Amazon. Fantastic news that halted off the open multiple times to the upside, getting to $9. And then if you guys were following the afternoon show, there was some good long trades. Obviously we left this show with that $5 defense that we got that nice little push back into $6. And then in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, we came back live on air and we're looking at that 5 bounce. It gave you like 30 or 40 cents or so, but that was about it. I said if it opened below 5, I'd be on the bear side. That's exactly what happened here. We tried to hold above 5. The second it got back below it, I was shorting these pops in front of like 490 or so. I got out one time here at 80s, and then 80s flushed. I'm like, this is smooth sailing. It just spiked up and retested 95s. I got a quick scalp trade 95s into 81, but I'm still holding this short at an average price of 90. If 5 goes, I'm out of here. I'm sort of, I only want to be a bear below that price, but this is on volume starting to pick up here a little bit going into that open. So obviously I'm going to be careful because I'm shorted, and some people are asking about the bull case. Yeah, it looks like it could still be strong if it gets back above that 5, and someone certainly just thought so, buying a bunch of shares here before the open at like 480 all the way up to 495.
Just watching Microsoft here as well. We've already talked about it, but 250, 240. My bids are, did I even put bids in? No, I did not yet. Okay, so I got to do that. 248 into 248. We talked about that. Want to get long down here into Softy if we can. And then if we do test that bottom like we made yesterday, that 247 area, I guess it was 246 was the bottom yesterday. So we'll see if that comes in. A lot of people also talking about FB, Facebook. I saw that news that they it's about banning Trump and bringing him back on, and they're not going to, I guess. It's oversight board upholds that decision on former President Trump. So that was, I said Facebook is tanking. Come on, guys, like tanking. But yeah, it does make that move down into yesterday's close of 317, 318, and now you're right back to 320. So again, if the NASDAQ wants, I don't know about trading Facebook today on that news, but they're going to re-examine this after 6 months, says the panel. So look, we're not going to talk politics on the show, but right now, I don't know if bringing Trump back to Facebook moves the needle billions of dollars like it would have to in order for the stock to move. So I don't know what that's going to cause. Obviously on the news, the algos come in, hit this, and then they realize what I just said, I think, and brings it right back to the upside. So Facebook should run today. But again, on news, it's one of those ones where you sort of got to be careful with it. Again, we don't know what's going to come out. I like Google for a long-term play off of some of the dips that have been happening lately. And then look, People always ask, like, what stocks would you put your money in? I think right now, with the NASDAQ falling down just a little bit, I think you got to look at the Qs and just, trade some ETF there, get some look on the NASDAQ or the ES. I mean, they're both near all-time highs, but off that move down yesterday, about 1.9% in NASDAQ, if you would have bought the close or somewhere yesterday when we were sort of, down almost 3% intraday, you get that 3% back plus 0.68, right? So you're going to get a lot of that move back today on the NASDAQ. I think you got to buy the NQ on any dips as well.
Yeah, it's always a good idea to be sort of just play the indexes is a simple way to express some of these moves. Ocugen, of course, is on the watch list here. Last one. The earnings are coming in at the end of the week, actually before market on Friday, and they did get a bit of a move to the upside. And I say a bit of a move. Most of this was like a 7 o'clock ramp. And it's worth sort of keeping in mind what we did in yesterday's action. Ocugen got absolutely flushed, and this was it was like 4 or 5 separate short trades here. The fact it's trying to make a bit of a breakout. This is 1340. This was the last price that we're shorting was at 1340 range, and I think I look at this and stare it in the face and say 1330 is the pre-market high of the day. I'll look for a breakout there if it wants to make that kind of a push. Now, we've seen this one go in the past. You know exactly what it can do. It formed a great bottom here at 1180. If it ever tests this price today, I'll definitely be defending it, probably a 12 long in front of 1180. But for now, I'm looking at that dollar range here. Well, maybe like 70-cent range, 1260 up into this 1330 to 1340 for a breakout in Ocugen. The short was fantastic yesterday. You got to play the price action today, looking for a bit of a rebound on that name. And of course, PRPO going to hang on to it. Nvidia pulling back a little bit, so at the open might be looking at that 82 to 85 range, hopefully, instead of having to buy the top.
Yeah, we've got bids lower side on AMD as well. So it's going to be, I don't know if everyone else is freezing in here, but I am. A
little bit.
Yeah, I may put it on. But I like the shirt, so I don't want to go over and throw on the hoodie, but maybe we will. Valeria wearing her lucky green today, so that's always a good sign. And the market is up, so we're happy with that. Just to check in on Boeing, I just see that they got some sort of news there about Boeing capacity, strong customer demand. Come on, Boeing, you're a New York stock. Let's go. Come on, charts. If we could switch that over, let's just see what's happening right now. 50-period moving average, still the same as it was yesterday. But yeah, I guess no real movement there on that Boeing news. Actually to the downside today, so okay. I was expecting that news may be better when they're talking about demand, but looks like Boeing today may have to, what a big move back yesterday, man. 225 up $8 to close, so good move there. We'll see if it takes out the high of 234. Lots and lots. If you haven't yet, go to my Twitter, find the sticky note there. There's some ideas there. You can go with those if you want. I do like GM. We've already talked about that. Maybe a play back in to GM. Again, we don't have the data there, but a play back into 5650 is
I got the chart up. I know there's a few issues on some charts if you didn't have them up a little bit earlier, but yeah, the playback in GM, it's starting to fall off right now, but it has broken that 5750, and this is what Sean's talking about. It was just clustered here for about a half an hour or so, and now it's pulling back into that same price. I'm not saying I hope it breaks it, but I kind of would prefer it give you a shot at that 57 into VWAP at this point, so you can get a bit of a deeper buy action on GM, but it is pulling back in, and there was some kind of an iceberg order above that 50.
So I just want to show, in case my daughter's watching again, I didn't get the, there you go. See there's kiwi, see? I told her that I eat kiwi all the time because she didn't like it because, it has that fur on the outside. So we bought her 2 kiwis, but they were hard, so we didn't open them. We didn't peel them yet. And we'll just to show you there, Daddy is eating some kiwi, and it was an early morning, so we hit the fruit early right now, and we're getting ready to rock and roll. Stay hydrated, guys. I didn't even open my water yet. As you can see, I fail on this one. Still 7 a.m. So right now, so I got to get going. I'm 2.5 hours behind on the water, but yeah, that's funny. I know. Someone laughing about the fur. I know. I told her. I was like, it's not fur. Come on. Okay, Ford, we're still long 46. We put an offer out here at 50. We didn't get filled, or 51. We didn't get filled, but again, not too worried about Ford. There's AMD.
Oh, there goes NVIDIA.
We just got a 79 bid there on AMD, so let's wait to see where that is. And then just to check back here on the imbalances that just came out for NASDAQ. We'll have a look at that right now. That's New York. We'll check NASDAQ in a second. Here it comes flying in. So Apple bid no surprise there. Everything else, Qualcomm, Intel there as a sell, forever a sell. Where's AMD? Probably a sell as well. Yep, and then AMAT a buy. So NVIDIA probably came out a sell. You're probably long.
No, NVIDIA just popped through the high of the day, which is weird because right when imbalances rolled out, so first things first, ANTX, that seller, 500,000 shares, I had to get out when it broke. But NVIDIA, I assumed with you, Sean, that when you didn't see it at the top that it should have come out a sell, but no, NVIDIA at 928 pops through the high. I just resigned myself to saying, okay, it's sliding down. We're going to get this one between 82 and 85. Now it's broken through the top. I'll still sit around, see if I can't catch an 85 bid, having missed that 88 breakout. I don't like it pre-market. I sort of said that before. Punching in exactly when the imbalances come out of NASDAQ is never really my cup of tea. Sometimes those can work exactly against you. We've talked about that with NIO. With about 45 seconds to go, watching the NVIDIA. Don't sleep on Uber. We're watching that and Lyft. DTW for now holding that 320 level. Only so many times you can short the pops on that one. And of course, PRPO. You already know I'm stopped out at $5 if it goes there. So small caps are in play. NVIDIA is the one I'll be watching right off of the open as well, that skills trade. Miss V's in the green, and the market is green as well. Hopefully we can hang on to some of those gains today. I think that'd be a welcome sign after yesterday's action. But let's drop the countdown and get this party started on Hump Day. Also, Cinco de Mayo, of course, you guys have mentioned. So let's get this one going here, guys. I haven't looked at Tesla, but I have that on radar as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, GM just popped in.
All right, so Ford blasting. We get those 51s, so a nice trade so far here on Ford. Long 46s. Let's see how bad this one wants to run to the upside right now. AMD and Ford, the only two positions we got. Let's go Ford. We're looking at that 1165 level. Might not be, I don't know, that's too high for now, but we'll wait for 1165 to come on Ford. If that does hit, then let's take that one for a ride, 1165. AMD coming to the downside, but we want to average into that play. We've talked about some key levels, so let's get longer on AMD.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, skills already breaking. So I get 1649 short. That skills works. We take the 57 hopeful bounce here in that GM. Immediately test down to this level here at 5680. For now, it's holding it. That little dip is where I'm going to try to average into it. In front, leave yourself some room to be able to average. And if it breaks 5680, I'll get out of that trade. But it's skills that is on the move. I said I only had one look on skills. Of course, it's on the New York. Load up, load up, load up, load up. Come on, don't do it to me. Of course, it's on the move to the downside. And I didn't have any kind of a long play here, but immediately testing $16, so 1650 break, out some in front of the quarters. Now it's trying to take out 16, so we'll flush this one down the toilet. Is this short? Wow, it just broke 16s, and bye-bye. Skills down at 1580, so now 70 cents in the money. GM flat, so that dip by not necessarily working out just yet. Let's see if it can level itself off.
All right, guys, slaying dragons left, right, and center over here. We did it again. We're going 3 for 3. We'll hit the bangs right now. Look at AMD, guys. Nothing but upside love right here. We're long, hella long right now. 78.81. Check that bid right there. Nice on that. Microsoft, hello. We're also taking this one to the bank as well. Boom, there it is again. Spin it.
Money,
guys, Microsoft ripped to the high side there. We talked about taking that one. 248.50, 70 cents in the money for Microsoft. Now let's see what NEO wants to do. We did a big dip buy on NEO, long 38, up to 38.20 right now. So as you can see, man, good day so far. Things rip city right now. Microsoft 75 cents in the money. We just took some out. Let's see how high this one wants to go. We've got the pullbacks today, boys, and it's been a good one off the open. 4 for 4 to start the day. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. You gotta love it, and we'll power up because it does continue now. PO. I gave it to you guys a couple of times and said, look, if it takes out that 5 level, I'm running to the hills. I like to be bullish above it, but it just can't seem to do it. It tests off of the open. I don't average into it in front of 930. I never do. We're able to get 78s and then bid down here at 465. So that runs deep in the money. The dip buy in GM just started going to the upside here. Now, of course, I quickly mentioned to you, it stalled out right here at 5680. Pre-market dip buy. It then holds that level. I get back into shares in front of it. I'm going to start scalping in front of those quarters. So that's my new out. If it breaks 56.80, I'm just going to get out of the trade, but I make sure I bank some profit. If it continues this push, I'd much rather defend lower. Digging in too early, too hard when there's that big of a gap to fill. has usually been a bit of pain, so make sure I scalp that one off for a winner, and don't turn a good trade into a bad one if you can avoid it. Skills continues its weakness. It just bounced off 1576 and now holding 16 even, so it's holding 50 to 75 cents in the money. Skills looking weak post earnings, guys.
Skills, great call there. Yeah, I should have looked at that one. I don't know why. Well, I know why. It wasn't moving, and we both mentioned that. But yeah, good call there on the downside there. You got to get out. That's why we're hitting the hot dog cannon, guys. Out of some AMD there, out of some NEO on the high side as well. The market boomed there off open, right? So don't expect, like, you got to start taking some profits. We saw the nastiness that happened yesterday. Out again, a little bit of NEO there. We're still going to defend this. I mean, we're out. We're taking the profits. We're going to defend this back to 37 and change, but just want to let you guys know that it is sometimes profit-taking time. Look at that out there on Ford, right there, 54s. So that's a nice little 8-cent win. We're 4 for 4 now with Softy, still 70 cents in the money here on Microsoft. Let's let this bad boy continue to run. Brendo, give it.
All right, early strength as well on this one. Square, guys, running off of the open here. Took out the pre-market high, 235.5. Straight through to 240. If we can show that chart there, Robbie, that would be fantastic. Thank you. 240 at the top there, 3.5% for Square, guys, on volume.
Yeah.
Nice move for Square. Gotta love it there. Of course, look, NVIDIA starts to go. I'll look for now. Have to try to buy this dip on a VWAP action, so we'll call it like 589. I'm sort of sitting here at 587. That was the price we preferred in the pre-market. If it doesn't give it to you, I don't want to chase it too far, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a burner and a runner. Now, I want to get back over to that ATNX. This one was going to be, when you had that big sell order at 5 evens, it's now testing 535. So that's why I was pointing out to you that there was a single order driving this one down. As it approaches 550, they bought and mostly in stock, so diluting the shares a little bit. That's why I prefer to play the short side. If it gets into this 550, I'm going to look for another short trade. This is why you don't average in blindly into stocks, guys. Have a bit of an out, know where your stop is going to be, know where you want to re-engage a trade, and it's at that 550 mark. Any turn, and I'm going short in ATNX again.
Okay, guys, so I'm just new position alert. GM just came in here, so 56.50, 56.68. We're going to watch GM here. Hopefully, we could take that one for a ride to the upside as well. And then here we go, guys. Rocket just takes out that 23.30. Again, people asking, is Rocket going to do what it did last earnings call? No, probably not. That was nuts. We talked about that. They gave that special dividend here. It's not a huge position. We actually put this out in the pre-market. We talked about that. So any sort of a pre-market break, not great. Would have been a great buy down here yesterday's close. So we're going to defend this down to 22.50. So I am going to put some more bids here just in case we do fall down here on Rocket. This is a very, very volatile name. Look at the market. This is why you take profit on some of these names, guys. There goes GM's trying to figure itself out. A nice win. I mean, it's only 10 cents. We're not going to take out 10 cents, but we're going to wait to see. I'm in the 90s now on GM. Hopefully that can come through. The only thing that's failing, and again, this is why we do this. You take profits, guys. We just took some more there. We're going to watch on AMD as it's falling back down. I don't know what NVIDIA is doing, but AMD right now, falling down, maybe a good spot to pick some up into yesterday's move. Look at GM, guys. There it is, cash register. Let's go.
Yeah, so NVIDIA does come back. It's at 86, like 87s. I mean, I'm long at 87.25, so 70 cents out of the money. Not that big of a move. Now, we telegraphed for you exactly what I was looking for in ATNX. So, look, if the stop wants to get run, if it wants to break this peak here, look, most of the volume at 550, but 560 is the top. I got into the short at 46s. 45s and 46s, was able to immediately get some out 34, 35.
Oh, yeah.
My bids are down in front of those quarters. If it breaks a high, fair enough, but already a profitable trade. I already talked about that in NVIDIA a quick second ago, but Skills trying to rebound a little bit. I'm going to stay with the weakness in Skills, and I'm going to short the pop into 16.25.
All right, guys. Let's go GM. Bang! Big win on GM, guys. Monster win here. 70 cents now in the money. We stay patient, wait for that 56.50 to come through. And here we go. We targeted 57.50, so here's $1 in the money already for GM, so good trade there. We do average into our AMD trade, and now that's ripping back to the high side. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 here. However, Rocket is the only one that we have on board that we haven't been able to take any profits on. So 5 for 6. Rocket pending, some size here at 23. If it breaks that, then giddy up. But right now, guys, GM escalating profits now to the upside. I don't know if you guys got that Escalade joke, but whatever. What's up, Brandon?
Maybe a Yukon in, no, I'm just kidding. X, guys, United States Steel, US Steel just bounced off 26 pretty hard here. Volume coming in off of 26. So we had earnings earlier, I think it was last week actually for X, but coming back to recent highs here, still in negative territory for US Steel.
So we showed you exactly live what was happening on this ATNX, guys. It broke that 560, so I get out of that 45. We get basically flat on the trade. Reverse into a long. Couldn't take out the high of the day, so the same thing's going to happen. Get out some in front of the high, try to hold through if it's going to be a breakout. Now I start thinking about the bearish end because we had to take the hit on the long trade at 545. And NVIDIA... it gave a shot here. It tried to get back above VWAP. You're going to see it hold this low. Well, try to hold this low at 585. Market snaps up. It's trying to come back in, but this is only about 10 handles on the ES and the NASDAQ as well. So it's still deciding where it wants to go. Position in NVIDIA that if it can hold the low, I like to run back up to 593.
Guys, look at this, man. Today is what we're talking about. We had chicken last night, and today is more winners. Thank you so much, Poultry. Look at Ford, guys. A big win up to 1158 right there. Big win. Big win on GM as well. Guys, that's $1 in the money. That ripped to more than $1 in the money. So we'll take some out now. 57.50 was the key level that we were looking at right there. AMD back to life. Microsoft still 70 cents in the money, although that was a lot higher. We've already cleaned that up right now. We're pretty huge, man. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now and still kicking. So let's keep on this board, guys, and keep ripping to the high side. NEO right now trying to think about some low sides, 37.50. We'll pick that up if it continues to drop, but we did cash out of some of our AMD there. We're not letting this thing fall too far, guys.
Yeah, and here comes that skills. I got more shares at VWAP here, 16s. Then it broke downside. I actually was having to pay down to 16.08 here as it continues that little bit of a flush. I said I'd get some in front of the quarters after taking the 50 short. When it breaks 16 even, if it breaks 16 even, I'll cover some in front of low of the day. If you wonder why the quarters, the bottom, 15.75, the break, 16.50, and then the retracement, 16.25. Sometimes when we talk about getting in and out and scalping at those quarter levels, it's because it just so happens to work. I was looking for that NVIDIA. I mean, I haven't even added to this position at any point. It's trying to consolidate, but not nearly towards that low of the day, that pre-market low at 582. I have to go a little bit further back to show you guys. It just bounced off 585, so that level looking pretty good. Not a ton of movement since it bounced. If it gets back above that 88, I'll probably scalp some off just so I can rinse and repeat if we're going to be range bound like we are. Brendan?
Right, this MUDOC SPAC, MUDS, the tops SPAC just popping up to 18 there, got above these highs. So all-time highs this morning here for MUDS. I also saw in the pre-market that WISE key, W key moving as well, guys.
Okay, AMD moving now 20 cents in the money on that one, 70 cents in the money on Microsoft, 80 cents in the money on GM, a dime here on Ford. Just looking back here, NEO is the only one really. We're not heavy into Rocket, but you know if it does blow up, we do want to take it through that 37 or 30. Rocket 23.16 is our average price. NEO coming in, guys. It was a bad day yesterday for them. Their close, I mean, it ended okay, but we saw what they did in the morning time. Look for these levels, guys. 37.50. See if that holds yesterday's number. If it doesn't, man, we're going to get out. It's 37.70 is the actual low. I think it's worth picking something up here on the low side of NIO, but we'll wait to see where that wants to go. But I'm going to use this 37.70 as a level. I think it's worth picking something up here on NEO and then not giving yourself too much leg room to the downside. The NASDAQ could turn, man. It had to go. It had to go at that 1%, but now it's faded off. So things still looking good, but definitely take some profits on some of these longs like we've been doing. So cash out, guys. I'm going to go long on NEO, but then not hold this thing past this 37.70, yesterday's little bump number.
Yeah, so skills just broke that 25. The re-entry point I'm going to get out of it, my average price about 20s after those re-entries. DTW, I didn't update it, if only because it's still holding down around 3. It tested back up to 330. You guys know that I like that 340 area a little bit better. That's where we're shorting in the pre-market. If it breaks 3, I'm trying to hold through a break of 3 even. Otherwise, I won't get back in until it touches that 330 mark. NVIDIA not moving too much. And then this PRPO, which the play from yesterday, Look, like I said, like if it gets to 5, fair enough. It just bounced to 475. Yeah, that's going to have to be the new mark for me. I missed that entry point as I was trading around in both skills and getting into that NVIDIA. Continues to press towards the low. So short at 494. Low of the day is 450. I'll start playing the quarters instead of the evens. Is this below 5? I'm a bear. I kind of wished I wanted to be long on this thing, but it just couldn't hold that $5 level from yesterday, guys. Brendo?
Gonna have to excuse my chart here. We're missing some data again, but Under Armour talked about it yesterday, guys. Yeah, there's looks like some holes, but it's not that thin. It's actually quite liquid today. 7.5%, 52-week highs today on an upgrade for UAA.
Yeah, we saw yesterday, nice short there yesterday, and then a nice rally back into the end. Okay, so this is it. I won't ever take shares. Okay, let's go. Things moving up to the upside right now. NEO, AMD especially as well. Right now, this is the last time we're going to do this right here on Rocket. We take that average price. It does dip down into the 50s. We're waiting a little bit lower than that to get out of our trade, so we're going to wait on this one. Our average price on Rocket right now, 23 even, so we'll give it back to 23 if it goes. No idea. It's not a short interest game anymore on this name, but whatever, we'll wait to see. We did pick up some more NVIDIA, or AMD, sorry, I know Neil's on NVIDIA, picked up some more AMD down here at 78.50.
Got to be going.
Now it's starting to go 79 and change. So a nice 50-cent win. I mean, we got a 50-cent win on NVIDIA, a dollar, 70-cent win on GM, a $1 win on Microsoft right now. And we're working out 10 cents on Ford, and we're working out this NEO position, which I think we got a good long there. We got some 75s. Let's see, though, if it wants to make its way back on this NASDAQ pull back to the upside.
Yeah, and I knew that was starting to go for you in AMD because I saw NVIDIA hit me above VWAP here at that 89 mark, so we were able to take some profits out. It's now at 90, so we're about $3 in the money. Of course, I missed a shot here. When it bounces off of 585, I always like getting in after a bounce off a level like that as opposed to going into it because I thought the 82 could have been good. I'll look to see if we can get through that high of the day. If it doesn't, I'm going to look to play out of this at like 591 to 592 area, and then just look for a break of 592.50 or a pullback to get back into the trade. So the intention is, if I do get out, it's only because I'm looking for another long position. I just want to stay net long. As long as this market tries to hold up, which it is, I'm going to like it. This is like this stock is hilarious. It's an ATNX, guys. It's a little bit schizophrenic. I just got a starter position back to the short side. When it couldn't hold the breakout, and I had the long when it tried to break through the top here, when it couldn't hold that breakout, now I want to see if it holds a lower high. You're looking at a 570 top. I would like an average price if I'm going to be in the short trade a little bit more at about 50s to 55s, looking for that rollover. It could not break out, so it's a bit of a failed break through the high of the day. You know I'm usually going to be short in all of those. NVIDIA is my only long. Of course, that is working. PRPO, look, the short is good until it gets to $5. And same thing with DTTW. No worries there. Brendo?
Another earnings name, T-Mobile, reported aftermarket yesterday, just pushing highs of day here, 3.8%. Did hold at the open there above that aftermarket high. So good earnings for TMUS, guys.
Yeah, look, guys, I mean, what a banger day this was. We talked about getting long everything, and that's what we did today. Again, look at this NEO trade. We just talked, I mean, look how much this is just accelerating now to the upside. This, I mean, we're long. I mean, is that NEO? Oh, sorry, that was Rocket. Here's NEO right here. This is 23 cents in the money as it continues. Actually, that was NEO. As this continues to rick to the upside now. GM also trying to make some moves. Let's take out another piece. I'm just super happy with the way this day is panning out for us. Right now, AMD 50 cents, GM that $1. We've talked about that. Here goes NEO back again high. Like, what a great buy that was. And you want to talk about like giving you guys the playbook. Like, that's exactly, I talked about this 37.70 here, and that's where we went long, 37.77. You can see the price, 76 actually, the price that we have now as we enjoy this ride back to the upside. The only thing that we're losing on, we're going to go 5 for 6 right now, and big ones too. AMD, Ford, GM, Microsoft, NEO, all major stocks, all big wins. The only thing we're waiting for is Rocket, which I don't think that has any fuel to it today, so we'll wait on that one. And then Microsoft, I may just, it looks so choppy, unbelievable. May just take this out, but I still think that we can break above that 249.50. So we'll wait on that one. If we lose on this Microsoft trade, whatever. I've already taken some profits there. It's a light position. We can hold it all the way back. We're out of 2/3 of this trade, so let's see where it goes from here. NASDAQ, I don't know, man, bouncy.
Yeah, we'll do this one for NVIDIA. Talked about the plan. If it rolled over shy of that high of the day, I would get out in between that 91, 92 range. Got 91, 65 here outside. So nice little winner here. You're gonna get that 87 into 91 for the $4. Now I'm sitting back on the bid. I want this one. Well, you kidding me, that ATNH. So I went from positive now down on that ANTH. So should have kept it to the pre-market. It just broke the high one more time. I did have the long, but that was a mixed result as well. So NVIDIA, I want to buy the dip if it gets down to that 86, 87 again. And I am now looking at the breakout through the high of the day. That's a 592.55. So you can sort of round it up if you want to the 60s. That's what I'll look to do, or just buy the dip. And as I said, DPW, PRPO, not necessarily threatening, but PRPO, if you're in the long, it just broke 450. It's now a 10% move off of that $5 seller, and it continues to flush.
Oh, I thought we were waiting for Valeria. If we are, you can throw over there. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking, but you don't want to see me. Let's go, Miss Green. What up?
Hey Sean, traders talk about Churchill Capital. Stock is up more than 4%. Do you have any news or thoughts on CCIV?
Sure, we can look at that. Let's look at Churchill Capital quickly. Here it is in New York stock, so we'll have a quick look at that. Up to $20 today. Yeah, again, we've talked about some of these SPACs, right, and what they mean. Lordstown, some of these EV names, Ride, Lordstown right here, CCIV, Fisker, things like that. And again, I don't know if there's news or anything, but I don't really want to trade these names, and we'll wait to hear back from Brendan. Maybe bye-bye, Neo. Nice little 70 cents now in the money. I don't want to take this trade, but I do like 20. 20 is an even number. Thanks for that, grade 1 math maybe. But yeah, I like that as a level, but until we find out more about this name, I'm gonna stay away. It's up that 4.5%. Let me just check, I know we're waiting for Brendan here. I just wanna check Fisker quickly just to see if it is indeed sector related. I'm long Fisker, and this name has just been an absolute disaster. No, it's not. So Brendan, what you got?
Yeah, not much as far as Churchill is concerned, but definitely one to keep on watch. Another one to add to the list here, Clovis Oncology, guys. They reported, and there was also a couple of other headlines regarding a recent trial. This is a cancer company. So one of their recent trial actually missed expectations as far as results from that. So CLVS, guys.
Good look there, Clover. Actually going to go to Oxygen in just a quick second, but a couple of things to update here. We'll go walk on water for that PRPO. And I sort of said it, and you guys were watching the show. Like, I was long off $5 like multiple times in the afternoon. I like that level, but I mean, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 times into the open, short in front of the 5. It holds, so that resistance level, like pretty solid there. This is the pre-market, these lows here. It's about 10% move, but also 444. That's where I'm going to get out. I'm looking for a place to buy a dip on this stock at some point. It's down 16%. I am looking back to like previous highs into 425. So there's a reason for a cover there, and then starting to think about if it can base out probably between like 380 to 425, somewhere in that range. I'd like to be buying the dip. It was a short. You got to play the setups when you're day trading, and it is what it is. I mean, obviously we tried the long yesterday. Nvidia starts to pop back to the downside here. Nowhere. Come on, chart. Here we go, Nvidia. Those are the wrong orders. If Nvidia gets back into that's actually my daily chart. If Nvidia gets back to that 586, 587 area, I am looking to get back into the long trade. It just broke VWAP. The key thing here is I don't want to pay up too far. If I like that bounce off 585 and I think 582 is cover, I want to make sure I'm getting a good bid down around that 586, 585 mark. You don't want to pay up at VWAP at 88, 89. Next thing you know, you're losing an extra $2, and I still am taking the breakout through the top. That's 592.55.
I was hoping that Neo was going to come back down as well and talk about picking some more up to the downside. It did break VWAP, so we're holding on to one last piece here. You can see 25%, 25%, 25%. So we still got on a quarter right now as it's looking to rip up to new highs here for the day, and that would be 38.50. So we do like that one. I mean, right now I'm just kind of watching these positions as I'm not certain on what the market wants to do. So I don't really see anything that I want to dig into right now, guys. This is 50 cents in the money. Neo, you could see that long. I mean, we don't need to talk. Microsoft's not moving, but we did pick up a beautiful long there. Still have that one. That's 70 cents in the money. Like, it's nice when you're able to sit back, relax, have a sip of water, which I've yet to do, and watch this money just flow through right now. GM 50 cents, Ford 8 cents, and then AMD 30 cents, and still making moves as well. But I am waiting lower to get some bids here. I'm trying to follow this market, and it looks like it wants to come out. So let's just get out of this GM right now, maybe. If it breaks back down below 57 here, we'll get out of GM. We'll put 50 cents more in our pocket there on that play. We're still waiting on Rocket. Neo, I mean, I don't want to get out of this because I do feel like the high of the day is coming. We've already made lots of money. Like, we're out of that one completely. Then we took this, and now we're getting out of that as well. So, I mean, it's been a super profitable day. I don't want to necessarily throw it away on any names that I don't like. Is there anything that you guys like? Hit us up on the chat here as well. Oh, yeah, Palantir. I just saw someone mention that. Why am I not looking at Palantir today? We will. OCGN, a nice 9% bump as well. We'll find some levels for you guys on OCGN. Normally, I would have hit that right there. 1340, but I didn't look at it pre-market.
Yeah, that DPW just got my attention. I've been trying to get into OCGN, of course, as well, but too many things to look at. It's going to happen to you. You got to limit it at some point. I just got a rollover. It tested back DPW up to 340. This is what we're shorting in the pre-market. It failed at that price area, so I don't get it on the way up. You know how it works. I'm trying to get into the short on the way downside. I just picked the shares up. They're at 32, so average price now 334. Risk it back into that 345 area. And OCGN, we're going to go to Brennan. We'll come back and talk about OCGN.
The big mover here today, a therapeutics company, Esperion, which is ESPR. They reported a number of downgrades. You can see just a mess aftermarket yesterday. It's trying to get back above this 19, though. 19, the very bottom in the aftermarket following earnings. So key level here down big time for ESPR.
So I wanted to quickly say there, of course, you did have this level on OCGN, and I think we briefly might have mentioned it, 1340. It broke that pre-market high, but look at all the chops. So that was a very ugly trade if you had that top break. I think now you can use like where it was sort of gravitating to and giving you that little flag at 33 to 35, something around that range. You can use that for a bit of a dip buy. So I'm going to plunk an order just in case we pull back. Of course, if you've already missed a move, I don't like chasing these kind of things, so I'm going to wait patiently. If I had chased NVIDIA, I just sort of said like I'd wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Yeah, it is what it is. This is my bid down here in front of that 56. It got to 56.50. I was sitting just below that, so I missed that dip buy on NVIDIA. That's what happens if you sort of try to get a good price and play the patience game. On a $500 stock, it kind of sucks to miss by 20 cents on an entry, but I had to bid somewhere. Brendan?
Just looking at Chamath. IPOF moving here, guys. Some volume coming in. It was down in the pre-market. Apparently, Equinox Gym in talks. So he's talking with a gym to go public through a merger with IPOF. Nothing confirmed, but heads up if you're in IPOF.
Okay. Good look there. IPOF, IPOE, everything. Chamath is in the building. We just took out some Ford right here, again, for a banger right there. So we'll hit the siren. We'll hit the cash register. We haven't done that in a while. But Ford, yeah, we talked about that one. And again, like when you trade Ford, you can trade more shares. And that's what the big stick comes out for there. So you take some profits on the upside. Our best trade upside was 58. That just happened. Coming back down, we get out. I made a keystroke error on GM. I don't know what happened. I guess it was these ticks down here. Oh, actually, I guess it was the ticks down that probably happened. I was going to get out if it breaks through 57. I don't think it did, but we got out anyway. I mean, how could have it if I got out at 07? But maybe it did. Anyways, that was the play there, getting out if it breaks through 58. I still like it, but it is coming back down, so we want to make sure that we do capture some of that profit. My number one stock today is GM, guys, besides that. So we'll wait for that. Ether now, or sorry, AMD Ether. AMD, we could check on Ether. It's not really doing anything. AMD coming to the downside again. We do have some bids down here, man, like 78.40, like basically right here, 78.45 and change. We'll use the bottom of the day to get out if this market crashes. We could give back everything if this market crashes, but right now I'm flat. So, I mean, I still have 5 positions, but they're not super heavy. Microsoft is probably the name here that I'm most worried about because look what it's doing so far today. Nothing. So that's not good. Like I thought with the NASDAQ being bumped up, Microsoft probably would have gone there, but it didn't. So I'm thinking this is a good out right now on Softy. I may look back and regret this, but let's just get out for Softy. We'll take this 50 cents and worry about it later. What's up, B?
Yeah, a lot of charts kind of looking like that so far this morning. SunPower, Mark was mentioning, if you joined us in the pre-market, some of these solars. SPWR reports this morning, not great on the earnings report. Bounced off 21 though. We're trying to hold 22, getting back to the upside, guys, for SPWR.
There you go, and never look a gift horse in the mouth. If you get something along the lines of what just happened in DPW with this rollover, look, it's the same price over and over again, so it just comes right back to that 340, and then just a big flush out when it breaks at 330. I talked about that little consolidation it was making, and I got into that short at 332 to get myself an average price at the time of 35. I get some out in the teens. I'll plunk a bid in front of $3 just because, look, if it's going to hold and on volume crater in and then bounce at 9:30 off of 305 and then do the same thing at 9:42, I'm going to anticipate that maybe there's a bit of buying in front of 3 even. And if you're a short seller that's not willing to cover when you get almost a 10% return on the stock in front of an obvious support level, then I don't know what you're doing, guys. That'd be crazy in my books. NVIDIA should fill me pretty soon here. I think any second I should actually be getting the long on NVIDIA. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. It's right here, right at that 586. I mean, at this point, it's one of those things where I missed it before. I'm not gonna do it again. I'll just pay the spread in that particular case and get it at 586.61. The first time I split hairs over like 35 or 40 cents, I'll just get into it this time. And if it breaks 85s, we can always look back down towards that 582 pre-market low for a defense on NVIDIA. Obviously, if it breaks back above VWAP, last time I got out 89s and then at 91, I just rinse and repeat that same plan of action. If you want to stay range bound, we've now tested top and bottom. Bottom, this is the second time. Top, we've done twice as well. So if it doesn't break a third time, you got to be scalping this for a winner. On NVIDIA, that does mean like taking $2, $3, $4 winners.
Okay, look at Softy there. Yeah, NVIDIA, again, watch out. I mean, this market, looks like that's a good bottom pick there. We did a couple ourselves. Let's wait to see here. Look at that Softy. That's a good dump off spot right there, man. We just saved ourselves 20 cents by getting out at 95 when we called that. So that looks to be so far so good on that move to the downside there for Softy. So we're out of that name. Just wanted to call that to everyone's attention. AMD, I'm waiting for a little bit lower. We did do another pick up here. Oh, that's what it was. It was NEO. I was going to say Neil picked up NVIDIA, and there was something else that I picked up there. It was NIO. But again, we picked it up at 77. So now we're ripping to the high side. I mean, rip. I don't think this is ripping anywhere. But we're trying to go to the high side right now. So again, we're just taking profits, man. There it is. Another, that's 10 cents there, or sorry, 8 cents there. We'll take that. We're just massaging some of our positions right now, guys. Look at the NASDAQ coming down. I don't want to be married to anything other than my lovely wife. What's up? But I don't need to be married to this NEO position. We will take longer if it comes down. But for right now, let's just get in and out of some of these positions and not hold on to anything. The NASDAQ breaking here, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you're going to see me. Like, obviously, if we get the NVIDIA long, we're going to take the profit, but I'll have the tighter stop as the market tries to come in. And if it can revisit 582, you maintain the fact that you maintain your profits on the stock, have that tighter stop. That way you're not getting flushed out if this does dive down even further. It's already 10 o'clock, guys. Looks like it's happening now with Brennan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, let's get a quick check on North American markets here. We are still positive on the day overall, but yeah, coming back to the downside here, you can see Brazil actually leading. NASDAQ, 0.4. The S&P TSX, about 0.4. The NASDAQ composite, this is the 100, 0.3 for the composite so far. The S&P, about 0.3 as well. The Dow, basically flat at this point, 0.08. So the Dow, the negative one so far today. You can see the Russell there, about break even as well. A couple of things we were looking at in the pre-market. GM struggling here to hold the bottom end of the pre-market range. Tested higher, lower. We're kind of in the middle right now. Still holding the gap to the upside though for GM, but a heads up there. NVIDIA, not so much. Breaking as we speak, guys. These pre-market support levels coming into play right now. 581 down to 582. A heads up for NVIDIA trying to give back gains as well. Back over to you.
Yep. Okay, we have a new position, guys. NEO, we took it right here into that call. We made the call before 37 right here, 37.70. That's where we took it, but we just took our last piece right here to wait to see if 50 breaks. So our average price right now 70. That's flat. AMD, let's go, baby. We just took that long as well at the bottom, so hopefully we can make that call. We do have our out ready to go on that one. So let's just keep on rinsing and repeating. We're at 46 right now on AMD, so we'll take some 57s. We know we didn't get filled there. We will offer though out right now. Take this out. This is bleeding this market. So if we can get some profits on these trades, we'll just do just that. There it is again, out, some double outs there, 55. So that's just, it's small, it's 9 cents, but hey man, we're gonna put that money in our pocket and look at this in a couple minutes. NIO, we'll wait, man. We got to wait for this one. Back upside. We're going to take some risk here. 37.40 is going to be our out on NIO. Man, we're in this game to win, so let's go.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Be in the game to win. And when I'm getting shaken out in this little 5-10 minutes or so on ATNX, I'm like, you know what? Let's just step away from it. Allow itself to get only to the top of the range, which is what I do. And when it does, it's like a short off of that high. Just be patient with it. Not play the middle. It just got down to 550 there, so a 68 short into 551 when only risking to that 3/4 mark. Bit of a better structured trade, not just getting jiggled around too much. Ocugen here, finally making a bit of a pullback. So I was waiting for this little dip into that 33, sort of 35 range, I should say. I just picked up 42s in front of VWAP. Of course, there's some, and this is really, really choppy in this range. So you are looking at like a 20 low here that you probably want to defend. Will I scalp some out into the 50s and 60s? Of course, because that's the name of the game. I know what kind of a short Ocugen was yesterday, so I don't want to be entirely too greedy. If it pops for me like 15 cents off of VWAP, I will take some profit on Ocugen. And it looks like NVIDIA, at least for the time being, as much as I got stopped out, it didn't quite get to that 82s that I liked. Once again, maybe by like 40 or 50 cents, I missed that little dip buy in front of the pre-market lows on NVIDIA. Brendo?
A couple of vaccine-related headlines. It was a little bit earlier this morning, but we'll touch on it now. Pfizer making a big move, guys. A heads up on Pfizer. The FDA approving their vaccine for 2 to 11, so children 2 to 11. Then I'll scroll up to the top here and you can see Canada's health regulator saying, yep, go for it for 12 to 16-year-old children as well. So Pfizer having quite the day here, 2.6%, guys.
Attaboy, attaboy. I'm liking all that vaccine talk. That is for damn sure. Okay, going to the upside right now is everything, so good trading, hopefully. We look at this bid that we just took on Microsoft, guys. 248 flat, so now we're long 248, well, 248.11. I guess that's not flat, but let's go to the upside, another win. Look at that. Like, you guys remember me taking that profit right there, like, just feeling good about that trade regardless of what happens. I'm just glad that we were able to get out of the way of Softy there. Hopefully we go back to the upside and we can celebrate this. But right now, guys, AMD, we took profits. The only thing that's really hurting, I mean, as the market continues to fall down here, we are getting NEO to fall down. Our out on NEO is going to be right here, man. At this 45 breaks, we're gone. There it is, we're gone. So we're out of NEO. We do take our profits. They're gone now, so no more profits on NIO, but we are going to wait to see what we can bring to the table here on AMD, as that one's still in the money. So AMD, let's see what happens there.
Yeah, and I just got out of that Ocugen, so I finally get into it, and it's going to be too late. We get the 40s, and then we just got out at the quarter mark. So keep the hits small when you're playing those long positions as well. But Peloton here, guys, I saw you guys in the chat talking about it, of course, continuing to sell off on that recall. Look, obviously it was a horrible story. There was one death and several injuries, I think like 6 dozen or so. Obviously, it's going down to this 90 range. You're going to see a lot of weakness in Peloton. I will say this much in their defense, and it's not to say that I'm looking for a long trade because it just broke the support level I would have tried to play off of, which was 92s. I think maybe if it gets down to the 80 range, it can be possibly defended. They're addressing it at the end of the day. Usually overreacting and recalls are good long-term for a company. I think it's a smart move that they've obviously made here. But they're going to get paid. They're going to get punished for it right now. But long-term, I think this was the right call for them by a long shot. Brendo?
All right, market coming off here, guys. We did get PMI number there. April PMI number at 10 o'clock. Looks like it was a little bit worse than expected. So heads up on the overall futures here heading to the downside.
It's a big time movement happening right now in the future. So watch out. Yeah, watch your trades right here if you guys can. Big movement to the downside right now. And I don't know. We'll have to wait to see. That's the NASDAQ busting out. We still have our Softy. That's why we did take some profits. Our NEO comes out. Our AMD comes out. We're rocking and rolling still. But big time movement to the downside. I don't know. I thought I had Microsoft bids. Oh, I did. 247.55 is my bid. It went down to 61. So hold on to your bottoms right now, as the NASDAQ turning red possibly is never a good sign, guys.
Hold on to your butts, as Samuel L. Jackson said in one of his famous movies. I mean, the guy's in literally everything. But I just got some more shares. Why? Because ATNX is bouncing off of VWAP here. And look, obviously this is a pretty strong stock. You saw the move up. There was that seller at $4.90 or for $5, I should say, and I didn't reverse into any long trades here except for the failed 560 breakout. At some point, I am going to turn into a bull. I look at this one time through 575. That of course, after I got stopped out on a short, I then shorted off, and it's now 1, the more times it tests this level without breaking VWAP, I think the better it is for anyone that's going to be a bull. I'd much prefer digging in below the 5-quarter 525. So as much as I'm in the money, when I've lost on a stock, right, I threw away all the profit that I had in the pre-market on this sort of these last defenses around 550. Whenever that happens to me, I sort of get a little bit defensive and say I needed to really sell off before digging in too deep. It's a tight stop I have at the 68 to 75. So while it's in the money and I can be happy about it, I'm always thinking about the other side of the trade if it happens to turn. Market heading downside, that shouldn't matter too much for some of these small caps. So yes, I'm short market's going down. That doesn't matter. ATNX is going to do its own thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some of these smaller ones don't really follow anything, guys. Except for the news, right? Neil's got that. Okay, just a quick look here, guys. Ether, see ya. So I don't know what's going on right now. I mean, it doesn't matter about the crypto space. It's more just a call here on what's happening with Ether and everything. I guess Bitcoin as well, now heading to the downside. So there are some downside movements happening right now in the market. So watch out here as crypto Ether 32 and change just got touched there. So I guess it just breaks through 33, which is the big level there on that name. So we're gonna have to watch out for Ethereum going to the downside right now. You could trade ETHE, something like that. We did spank that to the short side there a little bit, and now covering around 32. So that one's making some moves. Microsoft, we did get out again for flat there, but now we're still holding a baby short. We still have our 247.50s. We're looking at that one to see where that wants to come into play. If it does, man, we have 247 from yesterday was the level that we're looking at right down here, 247. So if this cracks, then we're going to get out of there. So 247, problem area for Microsoft right now. But yeah, thank you so much there. Nice membership joining there. Thank you. I just want to congratulate, if I can get this up. I want to say thank you to Chris. Thank you for becoming a member. I see my name here. I'm just getting Piton getting crushed. Yeah, I think Neil was just talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are getting crushed. And again, I will reiterate, I think it was the right decision by them to make this step. You just have to bite the bullet and make the recall sometimes. History is borne out that overreaction is going to be good. I'll go gates of hell. I just finished saying that ATNX was going to march to the beat of its own drum. It was trying to bounce off of VWAP, so I take most of the profit on that short out in front of 550, and then just like seconds later it flushes through. Because that $5 was such a key level, I got out at 520 when it started to slow down. I'll take 48 cents every single time. Brendan, we're going to go to you in a quick second here, but that $5 might turn into support after being a pre-market sell on ATNX.
I just noticed McAfee, guys, actually halted at the open there, but it has resumed since. I'll show you this chart because my other one's not working, but you can see we were down huge this morning right off the bat off of earnings, but it has started to come back above 22 here, but McAfee moving on earnings, guys.
Okay, yeah, I mean, a recent IPO, again, there's lots of danger I find in some of these like recent IPOs. And not that, I mean, McAfee's what, about a year and a half or so. You know what we could do? We could look at Palantir at some point today as well. Ford, good cash out there. Like, I feel pretty good about it. Cashing out of some Ford, whether or not, that was the top or not. I think obviously it was. We had 58 there, but we're coming back in. So this is getting to be one of those levels now that we talked about in the pre-market where we wanted to make sure that we averaged in to Ford, okay, in case it does come back down. So right now, 42. I didn't think we'd get an opportunity to take that price today, so let's do that right now on Ford. Let's think about going long right now, 42, 43, as it pops right back up now. But I do like this Ford call here, 43. Let's take a little baby spot here, 42, 43, if we can get it.
Yeah, and there goes that Uber. So I'm going to be like frown face. Now, I haven't made a trade on it here, but obviously now out of the money, like $3 on it. Into those earnings, you're seeing the market sell off. The first level we got to hold, the first level that it has to hold, I should say, because the stock doesn't care what position you have or I have or anybody, is going to be that 50 area. It has been a solid bottom. It's bounced a couple of times there, and I'm not going to step in front of its face until we get that 50 mark. Now, you have earnings after the market with Uber, of course, you have Lyft before. And I think that's one of those reasons why jumping into the sell in front of earnings doesn't make a lot of sense to me unless it's going to be at that perfect price in front of 50 even. Brendo?
Another one from yesterday. We were talking about the COCP down on an offering this morning in the pre-market, but just notice this one just picking up on the sell side with volume coming in, down 30% all the way back after that move to 350 yesterday.
Okay, quick update on our rocket companies. Come Come on, rocket companies, let's do something, man. Do it. All we have, you can see here, we got the question yesterday about like our average in. How do we average in? What prices do we average in at? Things like that. Yeah, like, you know, my average price right here is perfect, exactly sort of where I wanted it. It kind of a fluke, but it's 23, it's 23.02. So that's right here at, well, actually it's right here at 23. So it needs to get back to the upside right now. Rocket, let's see if it goes. Obviously they're reporting tonight, I believe, or tomorrow morning. So we're gonna see if it can go. The short interest, I don't think is a very big point anymore about Rocket. So we're gonna wait to see if it goes. Our out was 40 the whole time, so came very, very close to snapping and breaking us, but it hasn't yet. So it's only gonna be 25 cents down from here, but I do think that Rocket can at least get back to the upside there. I'm pissed off, quite frankly, that we missed twice. I was bidding 55s, and I just should have upped that to like 65, and then we'd have a 50-cent win backside on Microsoft, but right now, nothing to do there. NEO, we did get out there. It's still bouncing around its levels. I do kind of like this break, again, if we can do it. 37.70 on the upside for NEO. That's going to be my next position there. NIO, 37.70 on the upside. Let's see if we can take that.
So I see you guys talking about this NMRD, Nemora Medical. It's halted like multiple times, well, from what I can see, at least a couple times to the upside. Finally getting a bit of consolidation, I guess some price discovery up here, up 61%, guys. But it's really, really thinly traded. It wasn't on my radar before, and I'm kind of thinking about holding back until this thing gets to like 9 even or settles itself off a little bit more. Brendo?
Yeah, it's a medical equipment maker, it looks like. So they received a huge order here, 200,000 for something called Sugar Beet sensor. I'll read this, but yeah, medical equipment maker moving, guys.
There you go. Massive order, actual positive news there. That's why, yeah, I'm not going to jump in blind on something that's that thin that is making this parabolic of a move. If it does calm down, of course, it's all, any of these names are going to be worth trading if they are moving. I want to go back. One is moving, and it's going to be Ocugen. I made one trade buying a dip here at that 1335. Of course, that was a previous pre-market high. It breaks through those quarters, and then look at that hold at 13. So that was initial breakout at the open, guys. Look at that hold at 13. If you flip to like a 3-minute, that's actually going to be right around that VWAP. So maybe it can defend again. If it gets below. Look, if it gets below these prices, and I'm not talking about this 12.95, I'm kind of looking more towards that open price, that like 12.85 area, 89's where it opened up. I'd think about turning bearish if we hit that level, test it and break, and then start holding down around 13. I'd maybe go bearish on Ocugen. Nvidia got out of that trade with a tight stop. Then there was no support to be found at that 582 until it broke. And this is the key thing. I mean, it broke down, then a failed break at the low of the day. I wasn't involved to get back into it for that quick little $2 scalp. You're now holding this range. I would love for it to test the low one more time. The market's too weak for me to just jump into a 585 breakout long. Breakouts off the lows in terms of a stock, it's going to have you slip like 50 cents to maybe even more than that. Doesn't make a lot of sense while the market is weak. But if it tests and holds 580 again, then I'll start to think about that 585 break. So NVIDIA is still on the lookout for a bit of a long trade for me here. And I still have that DTTW, guys. This held the low of the day. I said make sure you get some shares out in front of the low of the day. As many times as it's given you these 340s and these 330 shorts, you got to take profit at 3 even. If it breaks 3, I will go short off the break of the 3 even level, or I'm waiting for a pop back into 325 to 335, which just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and I think this market is exactly that. You got to be patient. You got to wait for your levels, guys. And if they don't come, then you don't have to hit anything. That's why we're just waiting around. And the only thing I've taken right now is this Ford right here. And again, we took it at 42. We talked about that. Some 43s, some 42s. Average price 43. So that's where we're at.
41?
Some 41, did you say? What was that? I missed that joke.
You said like some 42, some 43, and I'm like, it's some 41, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we love some. We love
I couldn't name a song.
Some 41.
Right.
If you don't know who they are, maybe it's because you're not Canadian, but Some 41 is, or was, I guess, a big band. Valeria, you have no idea who Some 41 is. No, yeah. How do you say that what's 41 in Russian? How do you say that?
41.
41?
41.
41. Okay,
Good job.
Oh, thank you. There you go. See, I go back to back to my Russian roots.
You've been there.
I've been to Moscow. Beautiful place, man. I remember when I was there, I was like hailing rides with the manager of the Day Trade the World office at that point, and this was before Uber, before Lyft. I'm talking like 15 years ago, and we were just getting into random people's cars, and they were driving us around. I don't know, super nice.
You better not
That
do
sounds
this in
fake.
Moscow.
Yeah. Oh, we'll party there one day, Valeria. Don't worry. We'll be back to Moscow. I loved my trips there. Anyways, okay, that's it. That's enough. I'm glad I said that properly. But okay, Ford, we're defending that. No more getting into Ford, guys, until we get down to 11.25. So I'm going to start building this position 11.30. We'll take a big order down low 11.30. So if that comes in, we'll be long. We'll be hella long. Thank you for all the love there, on the chat about everything. I think that we got to do more of that. We got to talk more to each other, because sometimes the market's a little boring, but not right now as the market's running around everywhere. Neo, Microsoft, and Rocket right now. Ford, Microsoft, Rocket, and then Neo's on the watch. Just to give you guys an update, if you're waiting for Neo to crack, so am I. 37.70 on the upside. I like it from yesterday. Yesterday after I had this trade in the aftermarket and our after show as well, breaking through 37.70 all the way to the upside there. Let's see if it can happen again if the NASDAQ bounces. I like it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do this. It's going to be a fist bump, Daryl. And the next time you got a banger, just say MVIS, and I want to try to guess the position that you have, because if you just said, I got the short and I'm holding it right now, I would have said to you, okay, well, Daryl's probably got this playing off this 15 level. Look, you miss a breakdown, who cares, man? You play off of 15. This one, again, down 5%, but I think the bigger story is where the trend is at on MVIS. Obviously, there are some bulls that maybe are holding on to a 13, and that makes a heck of a lot of sense to me. You talk about the defense of that level, but if you get that 15 short, you're probably working down into at least 1350 to 1380 before you start getting into some people buying that little dip. I'd probably look for a test of that 13 minutes. It actually looks pretty strong for an area to think about a long trade. So I'm not in the short of MVIS, but I like the way you think, Daryl. That's a fantastic trade and a good look for sure. Just to come back over to that ATNX, I took my profit. We'll get off the 15-minute for this little small cap stock. I took my profit maybe a little bit early at 520. It does test that 5 even. I kind of wanted to see what would happen there. I was short like multiple times off of $5 before, so I kind of wanted to see what would happen when it got to the 5. It was a failed breakout. So for now, a little bit of support at that 5. I should have held an extra 15 pennies. I did not. If it pops back into this chop fest between 25s and 40s, I'll try the short one more time in front of VWAP here. This is a 1-minute chart. Otherwise, let's see if it can break down a second time at 5 before playing the shorts this low another time, guys. So DTTW still hanging on to it. NVIDIA, I want to see it test and hold at 580 before I dig in too deep. And next trade, looking at this ATNX again.
So Kevin, I'm just laughing here because I do see you talking about, and it was actually really funny. That's not scary at all, riding around in random people's cars in Russia. Yeah, no, not scary at all. No, there's lots of friendly people there in Russia. But trust me, the guy I was with is like, no one's doing anything to that guy. So as long as I was with him, I did feel safe. But I also feel safe trading our beloved Softy as, guess what? Someone learned their lesson. We didn't, although it doesn't matter because I would have got the long anyways, but we readjusted our order. We put it to 65 from 55, and then that gives us that 30-cent win again. So there it is. We'll do a little bit of Superman action as the Russian Queen is at the bottom there. So good job here on Softy. Let's see how high this wants to fly. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. We're cooking up some profits here today on Day Trade the World, sponsored tradertv.live, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Brendan's got the news.
All right, we'll just jump right into it. Small cap time, guys. Let's have a little bit of a review of what we were dealing with as far as small caps today. I was actually looking at this BLRX, if you remember yesterday, had a huge move all the way up to 640 in the pre-market. Ends up being a pretty decent level throughout the day. You can go back and have a look at yesterday. So I really like that 6. We obviously don't come anywhere near that. A little bit of a pivot in the afternoon here was 540. So I was looking at this 540 as well. A little bit of resistance here in the pre-market as well. This thing just fell apart as soon as the market opened today, all the way down to 440. Now we're trying to push towards day lows once again for BLRX, coming back to Earth. I went too far there? Yeah, OCGN. Wanted to mention OCGN real quick. So 1330 and then 1380 on the top. Sent this one out in the pre-market as well. Pretty easy trade. Still kind of holding below this 1330, trying to work back to the downside for OCGN. Then one more, yeah, IBIO was the other one. I hit the button again too many times. It's, for some reason, changing more than I would like it, guys. So have a look at IBIO. It was a good one today also, guys.
I'll do you that favor and have a look at IBIO. Look, on the watch list, and making a double top here. At least it's trying to make a double top up 44%. You're going to see on volume, and I guess I have to help you guys out there, do this extreme. On volume pushing into that top, and then again making another play into this, we'll call it like 195 level. It's obviously $2 that I think would be a little bit more concerning, but 195 is the current high of the day. It puts in a lower high. I'm certainly thinking about, for me, sort of looking at that lower high and saying, okay, if you can get like 90s and 92s, that'd be a good place to short. It has held so far right here, 175. You look at that little level in the pre-market, that's as far as it wanted to dip. I'd like to play at 85 to 90 short and then look for maybe a breakout, probably at $2 instead, as long as the volume keeps up. But it's done 75 million shares and actually hasn't slowed down at all. So if you've been shorting it, I hope you've got that 190 price, but above 175, I think you have to be at least a little bit careful and get yourself a tight stop on that short trade.
Yeah, and again, that's what we're doing right now. I told you that we'd be scalp central today. That's why we're at the highest part of the day, even though we've really only been long everything today. To be honest with you, as I look at the board, we're just longs. So yeah, look at this, like scalp, to the point now where we have very little left, right? So you gotta take the profits as you see them, as they come forward. Like if I'm holding on to Softy all day here, this is a problem, right? So that's why every single one of these has been a dip buy, like in, out, like that's fantastic. And then here, out there, so that was a loser, and then in and out, and now we'll wait to see if we have any more longs coming through on Softy. Let's test the 20s, and then we'll wait to see if 247 does come out to break. And again, very, very similar action here on NEO. Look what happens. We get in at 70, right? Look where we get some out, 64s, 58s. I'm not holding. If these breaks are not happening, we're flying out, man. Like, we don't pay any execution fees, and I think the similar thing for you guys as well there. If you're trading on an app where you can get in and out and you happen to be able to be quick, then, I mean, you can do that. On this NASDAQ break, I just didn't want to hold it. We're about to go negative, so there's no more outs coming on NEO. My next out is, honestly, it needs to at least be VWAP. I'm thinking up here 38, so I'm going to hold on to the rest of this, but I just want to give you guys an update of this is why I'm still alive right now and why we're still at, like I just said, basically the highest spot we've been at all day. I mean, obviously we were higher when unrealized when Microsoft was up here, but holding on to these positions, not a horrible idea. And then we do the same thing again, man. You have to ring the registers when this guy comes walking, because like you don't know how far up or down these stocks are going to go. So there's a little profit take on Ford. You got to do this, Brendan, today.
HN, I 100% agree. Don't wait around on things today, for sure. HNST, not the honest company, but honest company, that IPO today, indicating, guys, 2080 versus 16 initial price for HNST. And
look, don't know how good that one's going to be. It's going to be on the radar for sure, but I can tell you, no locates on RHE. Now that just made a monster. It's already halted a couple of times to the upside, but it's obviously a big runner. You guys can see here. I know you're talking about it on the board, from $10 all the way up to $14. So once again on the move. Now let's keep in mind, this stock was at $4 to end, well, towards the end of the month, I should say. Made a couple of breaks through 7. Retracement through 7 got to like 10, then another breakout all the way to $16. So it gets to 16, or at least close to 16. I think that's where I would think about a bigger reversal. If it wasn't for that 16 level, I probably would have been thinking about shorting it here. I just checked for now unavailable. I know we had shorts last time on a Day Trade of the World. Right now unavailable on RHE. But on the move, once again, watch out for that 16 on the daily chart. And of course, I always look at these halt prices. Down at 12, this was a halt up. That was the support level as well. So if it gets below 12, you might open up some floodgates to the downside. For those of you guys that are in the long side of RHE, no one ever went broke taking profit. Liquidity, while it's done 13 million shares, trust me, a lot of algos involved in that. That dries up really quickly when you start breaking levels.
Money bag time again. I mean, we just talked about this with Brendan. So if we're going to stick to our word and be the trader that we are trying to be there, we're going to take profit when this happens again. So there it is, man. Again, another run up, another take right there. That's another 30-cent win on Microsoft off the long 65s out there. Oh, sorry, that was out 87. So 22 cents. It could have been a little bit better there. It went up to 90s, but now we're going to let Microsoft ride the rest of the way. So hopefully that can come and just rocket us. I mean, like I said, we're now near our highest spot of the day now. So good on us. Good on you guys for holding some of these longs if you're able to. Anyways, we'll wait to see if it comes through. Okay, one last talk here. Rocket, again, same kind of premise. I feel stupid there because, you know, 90s, I did take some out, 20% out for a loser. Our average price, forget about what the average price is now, 96. My real price is 02. So until this thing gets above, we're not going to be hitting any registers or ringing anything on Rocket until we get above 23. But I do think I'm going to take out another 10%. So get out of about a third if we can get out. I mean, even maybe right now, it's come all the way back. So, you know, reward yourself for holding a little bit, even if it's not going to be a profitable trade. You know, we live to see another day. I'm here every single day. So, you know, you're going to have to just wait this out sometimes and take profits when they're there and take hits when it's reasonable. So I think right now on Rocket, it looks like, you know, let's celebrate a little bit of this coming back and take some out. And then the more I talk, I've just lost 10 cents here.
Yeah, that skills has come all the way back as well. So, I mean, we opened off at that 1650 set. I didn't really see any other trade there. And then it just did that like it just defecated all over itself at 1650. And it's right back at 1650. I'm short at 51. So on the north side of it, it turned around off of this pre-market, not pre-market high, but you know, this 75 to 80 area a couple of times. It reversed, and that was that little tight 30-cent range in the pre-market. So it could not break into that range. Now it's consolidating lower. Give me the same entry point. You give me that same sort of, give me an idea of where I can throw a stop up around that 70 to 75 area. And I'm going to go right back into the trade that worked before. Now, clearly it's on an upward trend, so I got to get some out in front of VWAP. If it breaks, look, if it breaks out, and of course, you know, you're looking at probably like a 1675 to like a 17 even, let's not forget just how volatile this name has been and how far it can go. So these are shorts all around this bottom. They couldn't really give you any push before through 16, and that's a flush that you got here in the morning was through that 16 level. If it holds 16 even, this does have a chance to break out to the upside. So if it bounces off of VWAP, I'm probably not going to average into it a second time. This will be like a third time, because I shorted it once, fourth time, shorted it once in the morning, twice here. We took a hit on that one. Not really as big as much as we won, but you got to make sure, and this is a dark pool print, it never came down to 30s here, guys. You got to make sure that you don't fight the trend too long here. If it does work, I do want to make sure that we get some out in front of VWAP, but I'm not going to hesitate to flip into a long trade if this can't break 16.25 and then 16 even at the bottom as well.
And again, reward yourself, guys, here. If Microsoft can go upside, then yeah, we are celebrating this one. If we can get it, man, we're very, very close to getting this. Bang, there it is, another one there. Watch out, Valeria, 50 cents in the money there as we go nuts on this name. There's Softy again, one of my #1 stocks today, 70 cents now. Well, 60 cents now in the money. Did top out there at 21, which was that 50 cents, 70, 60 cents. So nice little trade there on Softy. We hold a piece though now, guys. Let's see how far this one can go on to the upside. So on to the next Softy, big win for sure right there. Super happy with that trade. Now we just need Neo. We've held this one a little bit. You know what? Now that I look at this, I mean, I should probably average in to this one, 37.50. It's bounced around there a little bit. Let's just take that. And then if we're right about this move back to the upside, come on, Rocket. We did take a piece out there at 80 again, but we still have 70% of this trade on. So this is getting lit again to the upside. So let's hopefully that will go. Ford, meh. Comes all the way back down. I'm not digging into this one until we get to the low 30s. Maybe I should have took a spot there. Maybe I'll put a little bit here at 40 just to take this one to the upside. But there it goes, man. Everything moving, man. Rocket, 60 cents in the money now. Microsoft, 70 cents in the money, Microsoft. Rocket now moving. Ford now moving. Neo now moving back to the upside as well. So, yeah, man, this has been a big, big day for us. We're super happy, and thank you for joining. If you haven't done this yet, I thought it's been pretty good. Valeria and I have been going back and forth here. We've been talking. Neil's had some big trades. We've all had some nice ones. Oops, you see this? I didn't even hit the like yet, so I'm going to hit the like.
Come on, son.
Now you guys got to start hitting the like right now, and let's get this going. Valeria, you don't worry about that. Like, I'm going to get you the likes right now. 1.3. Like, if we don't get to 2,000 likes, then I mean, what else do we want you guys to do? Share it. Subscribe to it, and if you can hit the likes, that would be absolutely fantastic. I mean, have you noticed what shirt Valeria's wearing today? It's her lucky green. So if you want that to continue, like, bang, there it goes again. We'll do Valeria here for the likes. Neo, right now, hello, right to the upside. We are at our highest spot now of the day as everything ripping to new highs for me. Rocket finally goes into the money. Yeah, today is a good day.
And as the market turned green, just got an entry point. And remember, Activision, of course, Activision had strong earnings. We talked about this little dip level, this 92 in the aftermarket where it bounced back above it. I talked about not necessarily loving the way that it was forming that breakout. It never gave you that 95. But look at the consolidation right at the bottom end of that range, right at that 92 level. 91.90 is the low. It just broke to this upside. So I was about to tell you guys I'm going to take it when it breaks at 40. I'm now long in Activision at 46. You have really like 50 cents plus slippage of this range. If the market wants to bounce back, yeah, I'll take that all day long. Let's go Activision. Brendo.
Just checking on that region or regional health properties that you were mentioning, RHE. I didn't see anything, but still going here. Day highs for RHE, 45% on that one, on decent volume. That's a recent mover to keep an eye on so far. It's 10:30, guys. An hour left in the session over in Europe. Let's get a check on what's happening over there with Ms. B.
Hey, Brandon, European markets are positive on the optimism around recovery of economy and also boosted by strong earnings. Hugo Boss is up almost 8% as its first quarter sales almost doubled in mainland China. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the luxury goods makers going crazy over in the UK. Just checking on oil inventories, guys. Just saw XOM pop up. Looks like a drawdown. Very small, though. About 8 million. Nothing to see, guys.
Yeah, I see here on the chat here, Melitist here. Again, I like talking to you guys. Yeah, I didn't hit the bell on here yet. Thank you guys, first of all, from 1.3 to 1.7. I'm pretty sure we will get that K. So this bell, what does that do, right? What the bell does, I guess, is subscribe you to the channel and give you notifications of when we're live. Yeah, I don't need that notification because if the show is on, I'm here. So that's what's going to be. Oh, and speaking about the devil there, I think it's coming up 3 is our afternoon show, guys. Is that correct? So we'll hit that right now. Tonight, this afternoon, guys, join us back live at 3:15. Yesterday was 3. Today's 3:15. Yesterday we did have Michael Carter Williams. Thank you so much, Mr. Carter Williams, for showing up yesterday and coming on our show and talking, business of sport, basically. Right now we're debating, and we're probably going to go with a brand new segment called something like Business of Sport. Let us know if you liked Michael Carter Williams, but there's lots of stuff to go talk to athletes about, including Neo. And if they're driving any electric cars, they're probably all driving Teslas. But right now, or Bentleys, Lambos, who knows? 37.70, there it is. Ring the Reggie again on this one. So electric cars be damned today. Neo, another one for us, making that cash on this long. Should have got longer down there, but whatever. Microsoft, 75 cents in the money. What a big day this has been for us, guys. Rocket battles back, still not in the money there, but Ford nicely down, but now back up. Let's see if we catch some more profits on Ford. Hey, man, we're throwing darts and they're just all hitting today.
It's all about it's a fun analogy for sure, but when you're trading, you're not really throwing those darts. You're getting that plan of action. You have to have it. You got to have that in. You got to have the out. We try to give that to you live as much as we can. I mentioned this one a little bit earlier on ATNX. Of course, it had that monster flush out off of that 575 high we were short before. I've gotten back into position on it. I mentioned if it got back into this cluster, I was going to get short. And this is at 525 to 35. We've already started the position at 525. So, and we keep it real around here, just updating you. If it gets to 5 even, that was a bit of a failed breakdown at that particular price. I definitely would get some out in front of that. Got into the Activision. It hasn't really broken. Whoops, that's the wrong symbol. ATVI there. It hasn't really broken out too far, as I got to watch out because we just pressed into VWAP on that ATNX. So I might want to hold off on averaging into that another time. We haven't gotten the breakout on this name. It's still holding the bottom end of the range. On any long, the way this market is going, I'm going to keep tight stops because I can always get back in if I don't like it. Activision is no different. I know it's strong earnings. I'm not going to average into oblivion on that one.
Yep. Sorry, response, I mean. Okay, just typing there. Okay, going back to it, man. I mean, there's nothing really to do. We can hit the animations. My kid was like, oh, I love when you hit the animations, Daddy. So there's another one, although I hope you're not watching today. Microsoft, only because you're supposed to be in school. We talked about this yesterday. Okay, Microsoft's $1 now in the money. So, I mean, we've had multiple dollar winners on board for you guys today. And just to use another one, Microsoft ripping to the upside right now. And sometimes you got to have a little bit of those diamond hands. We did talk about rinsing and repeating these trades. I threw to Brendan numerous times where we talked about scalping out, getting out for little profits, and just scalping. And we did do that. So we did that. I was even rewarding myself there, patting myself on the back for taking out this 30-cent winner. But now you're in the money $1. It's ripped right back to the high side. NASDAQ possibly failing. So let's take this Microsoft trade out here and just celebrate this win. If we do pull back a little bit, I'm thinking to here, man, 20. I mean, we could have a runner, so maybe we don't want to get out. But if it does pull back, you know what? It's only 20% of this. Like it's like 15% of this position. So I may just hold this in case the NASDAQ does want to go for a run. So let's do that. Normally we would take out that profit, but we already did a little bit of that on NEO by taking some out back at VWAP. So with Microsoft not even being near VWAP yet, I do think there is a chance for it to go back upside. So let's park an order right around here and get a little bit more greedy. 248.70 now on Softy. Maybe that greed can come into play here, and we will get a little bit of that out if the market does rip upside. So 248.75 or so on Softy. If we're lucky enough to get that, we're going to take it.
And just watching this ATNX at 550, it looks like it just turned around 545 or so. I'm going to hold off until it gets back below like a 535 before I take any more to the bearish side. This RHE, I mean, look, I can only go alongside of the trade because we don't have the locates on it, but it is holding up, I'd say, rather strongly. The volume is starting to taper off, however, so unless it can pick up in volume in the next little bit, I'm not sure we're going to get a test into $16, which is what I thought was going to be that key level to the upside. ATVI, swing once and miss, but like I said, it was going to be a tight stop in through that low of the day. It's trying to hold up. Now, keep in mind, this is from like an 88 close yesterday. There's a monster gap to fill. That's why there's no way I'm going to hold on to this and just average into the long when it could come back into this. And I talked about 90 to 91. It was just this cluster from the morning range before flushing on ATVI. If it tests that price range, that's where I would mount sort of the next defense on the Activision. The market's trying to hold. Activision could break down. That'd be a good buying opportunity. Brendo?
When we were talking about the past couple of days, in fact, TYHT, there was some merger and acquisition news around this. With them acquiring another company. Just popped up to day highs here, 6% on volume for this one again, guys.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I was
going to say just a little bit of a double bottom on Peloton coming in here, guys. I know it's down 8%. Look, I talked about in defense of Peloton that it was a smart decision eventually, usually, to make these recalls. It did continue to flush after that, but you have 88.50 once. You have it coming back into 88.50 again. The actual low of the day, this little spike down here. I mean, I saw on volume, looks like maybe a dark pearl print, but it's in front of 88 even. I think that's a good place for a bit of a stop out style of trade. I'm going to go in front of it, stepping in front of a bit of a moving train here, but I think the risk reward is going to be good. Any kind of a turn, now that it's broken 89s, in between 88 and 89, and the second it slows down, I want to catch it on the first little move to the upside I see in the tape, and then throw an 88 stop. If it breaks 88, I'm out of it, guys. But either way, I think it's going to be an entry point and a worthwhile type of trade here in Peloton. And it's not necessarily, look, I'm not saying that this is fantastic news for them and they couldn't head lower. This is strictly a day trade. You got VWAP up here like $2.50 away. So if I can risk $1 to try and make 2, that's going to work for me. It's already shown some support on volume around this 88.50, so long in front of it makes some sense in Peloton. If it breaks the low, I mean, I couldn't find anything till about 80 or so. So I'm obviously not going to be going long like 10 times on this stock. It'll likely be one and done if it can't hold 88.
Yeah, let's see about scalping. Yeah, I mean, $2 you wouldn't think was a scalp there on Peloton, but I guess, yeah, the way that's moving, that's surprising.
It is
to
a
me.
scalp trade, I think.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I mean, because of the way that's moving, crazy, crazy stock. You want to talk about something that's crazy? Let's just go, man. We're going to just come in here. The Wiz, feeling like the Wiz today on Ford for sure. I mean, look at this buy. So we first got in early, right? 11:45 early on the stock, and then took that all out up here, held it, didn't hold that much of it, back down to 11:42. Then we took a 42 and a 43, and then now tick, 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 tick. and then I don't really have a boom, but there's a boom for you at least. I don't know if it's the gates of hell, but Ford's definitely not going into there. It's been in there lately on the daily chart. It's been in hell, but we already know what the problem is with them, and that is the semis, right? So we talked about that. They can't make enough cars right now because they don't have the parts. So it's very, very simple. Wow, something's blowing up right now because my net is just cracking. Oh yeah, N to the I to the O. Here we go. That's not bad. Nice little move to the high side right here for Neo, man. Believe in it and you shall be rewarded, says Neo. Bang, there it is. We take that one. We have another chicken dinner winner for you on board with NIO. Yeah, waiting. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm just watching my net go like, yep. And then, wow, we go over here to Neo, and you see that one just crushing it right now to the high side. So Neo, nice little win here as we go. This is, I mean, it's 25 cents. We'll see how far this one wants to go. Oh, yeah, and by the way, what just happened there? We get a little bit greedy, Valeria, and there it is. This is probably the reason, not just Neo. Look at Softy, like a glove, right back there to VWAP. We take that out. Let's run it, guys. Brendan, big day today. I hope you're having a good time as well, Brendo, with some of your trades.
Yeah, lots of opportunity, even with a bit of a muted market so far. You can see we are still positive up here. Only just, though, 0.2%. Individual names making up the gains once again. It's all about the energy group. This is the entire energy group here, mostly in positive territory outside of HFC. Earnings not good for them. Consumer discretionary stocks also in positive territory thanks to UA, Under Armour, earnings earlier this week, upgrade again today, 8% for UA and UAA. Caesars is here as well. CZR up about 6% following a report. Hilton down on earnings, about 3%. There's GM, 3%, BWA below that, Ford's in there as well. Tesla actually red, the only one, you can kind of see it there. Bottom of the board there, Tesla red on the day. Here's Boeing. There was news earlier on that, down 2%. TT, 2% to the upside, offsetting that. VRSK in earnings name, 6%. But the industrials group overall in negative territory. Tech stocks, not really doing much. I mean, it's kind of quiet as far as tech is concerned today, which might be constructive after the past couple of days that we've seen moves to the downside. This ACAM wanted to mention 4%. Following their report, real estate stocks are red, utilities as well in the corner there. Very, very negative on the session, adding to the declines. ATVI, we talked about in the pre-market, 3.9%. This communications group is positive on the day. Overall, everything kind of offsetting each other. 0.25% for the S&P, guys.
And Sean told you guys why should you like the show, and one of the reasons why we're giving you our read on the stocks. Look, we're going to holler out the levels, talk about what we see here. And Brent, I know you saw that one too, one of our members. You got 535 on ATNX, and I just finished saying, get below that 535, baby. That's where I got back into some shares, patiently waiting to get that 535 entry. It rolls over, gets back in front of this cluster at 515. I take some profit there. Now I'm back into thinking about that $5 range. Of course, 5 is held. It was a key level in the pre-market. You got to be concerned with it. And we'll talk about this, and we'll sort of do some slide action on this Peloton. It's gonna consolidate at 89 here. Now, what I want to do is rinse and repeat off of this 88.50-ish area. The fact that the market tried to bounce to the upside, okay, maybe that's going to help a little bit, but Peloton lagging in that move, it gives you that first dollar. Now, if I'm going to risk like 70 cents to $1, fine. I'm going to scalp some for $1. I think so. I think I can get more shares at maybe even a better price than 88.80. If it comes back down looking for 88.50s to 60s and then move up to VWAP, I consider that a scalp trade because Peloton is down $10 from the open, right? So I know an $88 stock, $2 is a good return, but relative to the volatility it's already had, that's not a heck of a lot. I still got my stop out at 88 even. If it gives me 88.50s, I'll be back into it. But for now, as we've said all morning long, especially with long positions, take your profits when they are there. Yes, we're trying to recover. Yes, the ES just turned positive on the session, but let's keep in mind some of the downside action that is there, and we haven't been able to even remotely test some of the area we're in when we flushed it yesterday, and that's at 41.75. We get above there, then you're holding longs to hold it to death, guys. But until we get to that point, I think you're scalping your profits on the long trade. You can have a core position, that's fine, as long as you have a stop and as long as you know where you're taking that profit.
And as long as you know, all of that, perfect. Look at NEO there. And again, plan your trade. I mean, it doesn't get, I don't want to say it doesn't get any easier than this, but I mean, literally, guys, like just plan your trade, have your outs. Like when you're taking a NEO trade and my out's going to be down here and you're going to risk like 30 cents, yeah, you're going to take the profit when it rips into the money 60 right there. So big time trading right now happening on NEO as this just continues to rip up. And I just want to give a big thanks. We say it all the time to everybody on the show, but I mean, I just tweeted out, like, I'm just feeling, ways. And Neil always talks about the audience, and so do I, and all of you guys. And I just want to say many thanks to the viewers for this success, as we're going to go 21-2 here, our last 23 days. And then I can look for you the last 6 months. But thank you for all the ideas too, right? Like you guys bringing things to our attention, like, people saying Microsoft's dipping, or look at this stock, look at that stock. And I just think that, that's added a lot to not only, how we trade, but that's kind of the love about the sticky note. Like, I'm going to share with you guys what I like, and as long as it comes backwards, man, we got a good combination here. Thank you for your continued support with Trader TV Live. I mean, it means a lot to us. We just crashed 200,000 subscribers, and there's going to be a hell of a lot more, and there's a lot more coming as well. Thank you so much for the continued support, guys. Miss V, though, wearing the green. I think I should be thanking you for everything today. Yeah, and I'm also looking at Rocket, which is blasting now. What up, V?
Hey, Sean, happy bringing the luck to the traders. Tesla made a big spike to the upside and back to the positive territory, guys. Do you think Tesla is going to break $700 level today? Back to you.
Oh, wow. Actually, I was just looking at Tesla before seeing that, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I'm not making that one up. I had a bit of a weird gap in my chart here around that 70, when it broke 78, which is, it kind of doesn't really matter. I don't, look, here's the thing. I don't see how any way that we're breaking that 700 on Tesla without the ES breaking sort of that key 75 to 80 area. So you got to watch out for the futures. Given the we're 10 handles away there and we're still like $15 away on Tesla, there's a decent chance that if you catch the break in the market through a key level like that and you can still fade Tesla for like 690, I'd be taking that one all day. I will note, and I'm not making it up, you can see right here, I'll go to the 1 minute chart. This is like this is why I looked at it before. This is 667. I mean, give me, how many times is 666 going to be a good support level on a dip in Tesla in the morning? This is insane. I should have had this one. The next time I'm just going to throw a bid at like 668 and say forget about it, put a stop like $3 lower, and then have it run. Unfortunately for me, the long I got was Peloton. We talked about rinsing and repeating. We've said it many, many times here. Get some profit out, rinse and repeat when you're holding these longs, especially if you're picking bottoms. Peloton does give me the better price. It gives me an entry point at 88.65. I'm able to scalp out even more this time in front of that 90, and now we're holding into VWAP. So I know it's negative news, of course, with Peloton. It's already been crushed. It made a support of a low. The market started breaking higher. You had a nice little higher low that we were playing off of, but you're taking profits in case we turn back again, guys. So bank it, bank it, bank it. Can't say that enough. Then you'll be walking on psychedelic water, or whatever we want to call this stuff.
Yeah, I call it walking on water. So that's a good one there. Okay, just to give you guys a little bit of an update here, GM. Like, I just gave all you guys credit, and you didn't flag when GM went down here. I'm just playing around. We can't look at everything, but GM does. This is the level that we hit early, man, and we crushed this one big time. GM, actually one of my top stocks, right? Actually, now Microsoft overtook it, and hopefully Rocket does as well, but we're gonna wait. GM still, Microsoft and GM battling right now for top spot. Why? Because this one early came right down to the level that we liked, 56.50. We could have got 56.50 exactly, but we take 68s, then we get out at 90 there, so that's 20 cents. Then we get out at 24, so that's 70 cents, 80 cents. Almost a smooth dollar, that's 90 cents. And then as it's breaking back down below, we get out there for the last 40 cents. So add that all up, it's a hell of a lot. And then it comes right back down and then bumps again. So that was a little bit of a missed opportunity there for sure. But NEO, no missed opportunity here, as we have the diamond hands, and you can still see it's still on board. So good trade for NEO. Thank God we were able to hold that. We did just get out of our Ford. We took some, I mean, look at this, guys. Tick, 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 all the way to the upside. So Ford also going to be on the watch for top stock today as that retraces all the way back. It's too bad because I almost put on. I said I was waiting for the 30s to put on the big one, but it doesn't. I mean, we still have a win. A win is a win here on Ford. We'll take that all day, every day. But big movements to the upside. Rocket as well. Oh, that's something we can adjust. We just got out here at 10s, so a little bit of movement now to Rocket, but I still can't celebrate that, guys. Our average price, remember, was 23.02, all said and done. So that's that trade right now. Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's have a look at what is happening so far in the currency world. I put the dollar index back over here on the chart. This is a daily time frame. So we're finally trying to find a bit of a base, it seems, on the US dollar, back above that 41 area. However, still lots of strength on individual currencies versus that. You can see the Canadian dollar up 0.4 again today, 81.5. I actually read a note this morning, Sean, that said the Canadian dollar has room to 120 versus the US. So just think about that for a second. Yeah, the euro negative on the day. British pound up about 0.25%. Nothing else really doing a heck of a lot. Australia and New Zealand both higher on that. Again, today, Turkish lira also positive. Cryptos, yeah, Ripple having a nice move, 10%, almost 4 here for Bitcoin. Again, we're back above 55,000. Ethereum, a bit of a pullback after what a week it's been for ETH. Back over to Sean.
Yes, sir. It's been a week. It's been a week and a half for ETH today. Maybe you could find what the weekly gain is on that, but yeah, ETH going absolutely ham. And I just want to bring it to your attention too. What else is going ham? Hello, ADA, up to 141. Let's go, Cardano. This one's my baby. I've been talking about it for a while now. I get into it if you want, but I've loved Cardano since 15 cents. If you've been on the show that long, and it was only like the same time, December, January, things like that nature. So hopefully you're into that name. It's not a Dogecoin or anything, or even Ether, but it's still moving and I like it. I like ADA. Right now it's kind of like my Palantir of the crypto, but I do like it, except for I haven't really taken any profits on ADA yet. So like we have on Palantir. A rocket to the upside there, so that's out. We've talked about that. Well, not out, but we did take that out. Now we're right back to flat on this trade. So not going to celebrate too much on that one. Neo Ford, a good move up. There was a name I wanted to talk about now. I can't remember what it is. What were you talking about? You're talking about the Canadian dollar there? Oh, no, it was Bitcoin. That's all. I just want to talk about this move that Bitcoin is having as we speak right now. Bitcoin moving, big movement there. You just talked about it cracking through 55, Brendan. Right now, it's staring at 57. You do have a high there back to May 3rd, recent high anyways, of 59. So does that come into play? I probably think so. So we'll watch out for 59 today as Bitcoin on the run up with Ether, with Ethereum Classic, everything today, man. You got to get some money in crypto. I actually, seems like we've convinced Mr. Mark Roberts from Sun Lake Strategies. He was not a fan of crypto. And then today we talked about that and he does not own any Dogecoin. Neither do I. But I've got him, I think, a little bit convinced. I remember about 6 to 8 months ago, he wasn't all about the cryptos, and now I think he's between about 5 to 10% there. Hopefully he's holding crypto instead of gold. Boo, gold.
Here's the way I look at it, right? Like if you're an old economics, like sort of old school fundamental player, there's no way you can look at the relationship and if you like gold before and not do it now. That's why when Munger said what he said, I'm like, well, of course you wouldn't like it. You guys aren't even into the whole like gold play anyway. So if you don't actually believe in the fact that money supply is completely out of control, and then you want to put a better store of money, something you have confidence in, then I get it. If you weren't there before, then you're probably not going to get there now. But people that did have that mindset or do like Mark are going to start rotating into crypto. Now, I say all this with looking at Coinbase today because you got me excited. I was like, maybe Coinbase is breaking back out. Look, I'd like us back above this 285. I think I'm looking for a place to add, and I might be starting to get convinced that I shouldn't be waiting for 250, but I'm not there yet. Not enough strength. I want to go over to the ATNX, if only to make an update. I'm all out of here we go, finally flipping. I'm all out of this one, and this is a bit of a learning experience, and I talk about this from time and time again, and every now and then I'll make this mistake. It was a great short off of 5. When I covered that short and was looking for a re-entry point, these are the highs that I was looking for, that 565, right? So I start the position here at 548. I should have started a little bit tighter, and that would have been a much better look. That's when I get jiggled in, taking a long before the actual break that obviously fails. So you take a short that I didn't need, take a long that basically wins a little, loses a little for a flat trade, then short it too far away from the high, and then get stopped out here. Once it happens, you get tons of FOMO when it flushes in the money. Like if I had waited for 565, I would have had that nice little winner in here when it got to the cluster. Instead of sitting there and getting mad at myself and shorting this little trick in VWAP, take a step back, take a deep breath, know that I like the high off the day until it holds below that price, get tops, make that move. Once it holds below, I'm starting to think short again, and we got that 535. Because $5 is a key level, I'm all out once again. If it holds that 5, I'm no longer doing anything till it gets to the high of the day or breaks below one of these $5 support levels. So I can sit back, relax. I will not have cognac because we're still live trading. That would be a little bit crazy. And focus on Peloton, which we talked about why you should scalp out some wins. If we break the low of the day, my hands are off the keyboard. I will take the hit on the last re-entry point, and I'll be still positive on the stock. If it can bounce off of 88 this time, fantastic. I'm still looking to take out VWAP here on Peloton, but the recovery is still there in the market. Remember, Peloton did have the news of the recall, so you're going against the trend. That's why you take some profit on the way upside.
So right now, I'm just stone cold chilling into some of these positions. Ford, NEO, Rocket. If anyone tags me, I'll answer a question if you want there on the chat. So we're going to go Q&A time if you want anything. Uber, I don't know. So, I mean, I can ask Neil a question now. So I know that you were talking about being long Uber, you know, from last week's prices. So obviously we're down now. What is your strategy heading into earnings right now? Like for me, I don't like to add to positions heading into earnings. Are you going to?
No chance.
No chance. Okay,
no
so
chance
that's what I just wanted, because I actually went over here, Neil, and I actually didn't even realize Uber was down today.
Yeah,
so that's why I bring that up. Like
this is a good point, but like I think it probably bears expanding on, because the reality is I don't think it makes a lot of sense, and I know other people might have a different opinion. I don't think it makes sense to add a week in front of earnings unless you're of the opinion that you want to hold through possibly negative earnings. So, you know, and again, I'll be candid about it. It's like I'd rather own like 5 times what I have into Uber, and it's the first time I've ever gotten into this position. And we can talk about Uber versus Lyft. That's a different story. But I'm looking to possibly add at this cluster at like 45 to 46, where it looks a heck of a lot more attractive. I just wanted some exposure. When it had that big dip down last week, I said to myself, okay, that's not a bad place to add. If they beat, you got yourself a good move. There's some support at 50 and then again at 46, but you got to be careful about it. I would never have done that unless I was willing to hold through. I don't want to be selling it. If I had a bigger position, I think if I had a bigger position, like half instead, I'd probably be looking at trimming it on this move to the downside. But because it's a small starter, I wouldn't do so. And if you're not willing to do that, you shouldn't buy in front of earnings, in my opinion. I'm not hedging it because it's not necessarily big enough to do that either. Brendo.
We mentioned this real quick right before the market open, guys, but I wanted to reiterate this. There was this note that came out just at 9:30 this morning, Biden's administration rescinding a Trump-era rule affecting gig workers, meaning so Trump came up with that rule that would have made it easier for these companies to classify drivers and delivery people as independent contractors and not employees. So they rescinded that rule, meaning there's a better chance for them having to be employees and gain the benefits of that. So look at DoorDash today. It's down as well on that, both Lyft and Uber, as you guys were mentioning too.
Oh yeah, Dash. I haven't looked at that in a while. So I should have. Well, I think it's great that we talk about these, and I think you're absolutely right about that, Sean. We're sort of talking in the back here, but I want to update a position because I haven't talked about skills in like 30 minutes or so. It did hold. Of course, I mentioned this level here, 1680 or so. It does hold that. Of course, I missed the reentry on the rollover, but if a stock does a flush out at the open, and remember what's like, look at the volatility in skills. Look at the daily chart in terms of how far it could go. So when you know there's that potential upside and you're trying to short a stock which has already come that far down, you're taking profit. When it does a flush out like this and then starts holding VWAP, you got to start thinking about a breakout, right? So as much as it's worked, and I was able to make some money on that in VWAP, it's now back to break even. I'd probably try one more time on a rollover shy of 1680 and then start thinking about breakout longs on skills. Now, whether or not that's going to happen before the next, I guess half an hour to the end of the show, or Possibly. I'm not saying 100%. When we come back on at 315, I'll be long in skills because I'm sitting in a short. I'd rather that work out first. But if we can hold VWAP here, maybe even just hold 16 even, let's just say. If there's no break of 16 even, I'm going to want that long through 1680 or through 17. So if that happens, hopefully I'll be in position and have not gotten blown out in the short trade and somehow won on both of these. But skills on the radar to be one of these things that could be a great trade going into power hour. It goes without saying that Uber and Lyft are going to be in play in power hour because you're heading into earnings.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's a game changer too on that news there from Brendan about the Biden administration. I don't know what's happening with that, but yeah, you don't want that ruling to change at all. We just celebrate Rocket again because it's a rocket straight to the upside. We just talked about some 20s. So again, our average price, remember, was 23.02. So we said we wouldn't celebrate until it did rip up, but we were bullish on the name, and there it goes to the upside. So a nice little call there for Rocket. Hopefully it goes, man. We do know that they report coming out afterwards. Okay, so I said I would take some questions, and I only saw one, I think. No, okay, so actually there's a few of them now. How long did it take to be consistently profitable? So I can actually answer both of these. Nuno Terrace right there for how long have you been trading? 19 years. Okay, and then the next one here, how long did it take you to be consistently profitable? Honestly, it took me 1 month. That's a little bit of a fluke, but it did. So that's that. It took me 1 month there. The magic hands continue. Apple, chance to buy 125? No. Market down because Powell could leave? Yes. We talked about that. I actually tweeted that. I'll put that up on our chat board again. The tweet that I made out about that call right there with Powell. So yes, I do think that's why the market is jittery a little bit today. We were cruising. I mean, here's an example. This is when the story came out. So yes, I do think that there is some worry there. And then that's it, fine. I'll do some more questions in a bit, but there's quick. I feel like Kramer there, where we had like the mad money, the lightning round there, very, very fast. So, okay, good call.
Don't forget that the other person that could be out is Clarita. So it's like, that's a bit of a double dip there, his sidekick.
Yeah, exactly. And there was another name too, but I think it's like
I don't know the
team,
third one.
They're out. We just did take. I didn't even realize this. We'd had a 38.50 there on NEO. We don't want that break. I didn't even analyze this. That was from the pre-market. You remember we wrote down NEO 30. Yeah. First of all, I mean, look what I wrote on here, guys. NEO down to 37. Look at that. Look at that. Where it is?
Oh my
right there.
Goodness.
NEO down to 37. Like that's exactly what happened, and that's why we killed it. So there you go. There's a note about NEO down to 37. And I did talk about taking out this 38.50, but that was a mistake. Didn't mean to take that trade. So we are now long. It's going to show me long 51s. We'll take it because it's working, but I got out quickly there. We didn't want that many shares, so that's a good one. Rocket still 50 cents in the money, and Ford cruising as well.
So I want to get to this. Look, I'm actually happy that we don't have locates on RHE because regional health properties is at, well, I was going to say $19, but that would be exaggerating. It's at $18.50. And seeing as it was at $9.93 at the close yesterday, that 50 cents probably doesn't make any bit of a difference. I was looking at 16 for an area of entry. It had to fail break first, and there was a pullback, but I'm telling you, that went 50 cents. Well, $1 from the top, but 50 cents. There is no end in sight. I'm a little bit curious as to how, and I look at a move like this in, I don't know, call it like 8 minutes, it's gone from $15.80 to $19 and somehow hasn't had a single halt. So until it halts, if we get locates, until it halts, I want no part of this thing. If you have profit on this, I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. It's done this dance before, and each time there's been severe corrections. The latest time it was from 12, and then you're probably looking at consolidation right around like that 50% retracement. So if you're not willing to stomach that, bank it. $20 is approaching rapidly. Obviously, I won't be short because I can't go short, but I wouldn't be doing it anyways.
Okay, so one of my favorite guys around. What up, Chef Paul? Hit up Cactus Club, King Taps, if you're ever around. Paul, let's. Valeria's getting mad about Cactus Club because she wants to go there. Do you think that this is that dip in the market projected for the end of May? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've read a few things, Paul, about, the market getting dipped down. But you know what? I mean, I think if you pick the right names, I think every dip down is a buying opportunity. I mean, look, last time we had earnings, like March, April here, we did get a dip back down, and that's when everybody was like wondering if the NASDAQ was sort of over. So that's, March, so that's the end of Q1. And then now we're back here into the next reporting period. Some other companies coming in May, June. So, we do get this dip down. But the thing is, like this is where I sort of just hold out for hope. And maybe it's because I'm an eternal optimist or bull here about the market. But like even this major dip down here, right? It breaks through. These are the 50 periods moving average. We always talk about that. You do get a little pull through and then a move up. So like pull through, then a move up. Here, this was the one that everyone was like screaming about. It actually turned out to be nothing, and that's a pullback down. So let me just give you a little tip here. If this pulls back to here, I think you got to buy. So that's 40.50 on the ES. We're at 41.60, so another 100 handles down. Very, very possible. But again, as long as the market remains strong, and again, what we're talking about is inflation. I'm talking about interest rates, things like that. If the environment, I should say, remains where it is right now, then I don't see any problem. I am a little bit worried, though, just to let you guys know, that this crypto market is very heated right now. And if some money starts coming out of crypto, I just, I wonder if that money gets injected back into the market, or does that cause more like money out of crypto, money out of NASDAQ? Would that crypto sort of sell, create a market dip buy opportunity? I hope not. And I don't know if anybody's going to sell their crypto, but that is the one thing that I just know how heated that market is. Money coming out there may panic some investors. So that's my little take there. Thank you, Paul. Great food as always. We love it. And thank you for watching the show.
But I tend to think if you get a sell-off in crypto, that there will be institutions that will take advantage of that following week or so to buy up some things. Now, because I know there probably would be a bit of a panic. I'm with you there. I just feel like there's going to be some big money waiting in the wings for that exact panic dip, which they usually are. Somehow we haven't talked about Vaxart today, and I apologize for that. It was all over the radar. I mean, I'm not even sure what I'm doing, not even looking at the stock today. And the only reason I noticed this is because it's broken this 70-75 area. So look, watch out below is the only thing I can say. I don't know, my chart's not really going back further. That's kind of a pain in the butt. I'd watch out below. There was some chop, and I guess on the way up to this move to 12.50 or so, sorry. There was some chop and a bit of a pullback and support at 7 even. I'm now looking to that level now that it's back on my radar today, just to see if it can mount any kind of a defense. I don't know that. I don't know. It gets a gap in my chart one more time here. I don't think it gapped down from 750 down into 740, but that was a key level break at 750. I'm looking at the evens to see if it can get back into it. Skills is starting to threaten the top end. I am still short. Got that little bounce. I said I'd only get more shares if it started rolling over. Well, here it is, consolidating at 60s. If it breaks back down below 60s, I'll look to add to my position, but I'm only wanting to do so on the way down, guys. And thank you very much, Coinbase through 285. Let's go. If it can hold that throughout the rest of the day, it might not be a horrible place to add.
Yeah, I think Coinbase, any spot right now is a good spot to add on Coinbase. So I'm going to have to do that soon because my last buy, I think, was 312, something like that. So we're going to have to buy. We bought some 326 or 322, something like that. And then we bought some 312. So we're averaging down into Coinbase. But that is, again, not a swing trade. You guys know how much I love fintech, right? So obviously, I'm going to be into Coinbase. I've tripled my money off PayPal, bought Square at $35. So yeah, happy with that. Hopefully Coinbase can be the same thing. But right now, fintech getting absolutely destroyed. And I'm just going to go over to my PaySafe right now. We're waiting on PaySafe earnings. I think it was May 11th for this. We have so many numbers going through our head there, but what a great dip buy. That was at $12.50. When it's those BFT, those were some of my last buys, around $12 or $13. So it did make a move back to 14. So I still think that PaySafe on the turnover was $13.70. So it's right back to flat. So, I mean, my call on that one's been pretty solid. It hasn't moved, but we have talked about wanting to wait for earnings on that. So I do like PaySafe to come through. There it is, man. We closed our trade on NEO. That was a little bit of not a little bit, it was a mistake. We left a pending order there, but hey, look, we cashed out. So we actually made money on that mistake. So that's how you know things are going well, when mistakes are paying you off right now. So that's a good one. But Rocket, I mean, what else do we want to say? I wish we had a rocket. I think, do we have a rocket ship? Maybe we do. But either way, here I come landing in there with Rocket. They're going to report tonight, but what a big move this has been now into the 30s. Like, this is where we took our first trade, man. So good trade here for Rocket. We're still long. Though it's going to show my average price 69. If you've been with us from the beginning, it's really 02s. So right now I'm going to consider this like 25 cents in the money, although it's not because I've taken some out. But here we go, Rocket. I still think we get to 24. So I want to hold it out until then. And right now, man, I'm not really looking at anything. Uber's back to 52. I'm going to have a look at that, I guess.
Yeah, and just going to show you guys, always have a stop. When you go in counter trend, we showed you the way in which I was going to trade that Peloton. We said take profits where you can, have that out. It breaks at 88. You're essentially, and look, I actually got a fantastic fill here. My slippage was literally a couple of cents. So that last entry point ends up losing 67 pennies when you're able to take over $1. And then, of course, a couple of dollars on that trade here. So it's a nice one in Peloton, but it's continuing to slide on that recall news. Go back to the daily chart. I don't really see any hard support till it gets to about like $80. So watch out below. Peloton now down a full 10%. Brendan?
Corsair Gaming, we had ATBI, obviously. This one also reported. Corsair Gaming, CRSR up nicely today. And starting to catch a little bit of a bid here. Some volume coming in on the buy side, 7% after better than expected earnings, guys.
There was, I don't know, Neil, there was just a super chat there. I haven't looked at Peloton, so I'll pass it over.
No, 100% Kayvon. I mean, it's your timing is absolutely fantastic. Well, look, I mean, Peloton. If you're holding a long position in it, that obviously stinks. But I just mentioned that $80 range. There was a strong cluster here, and even if it breaks 80, I kind of feel like when you have a high like this at that 75, and then you have on volume. This was the big move in August, right around that 80 level. You probably have like $5 worth of cover for a swing in front of that 80 range. I know that's a long ways away, so that's not necessarily what anybody wants to hear today, but the other one was where I was long, and it's already broken. So, I mean, that didn't really go. If you have, and this is the thing, if you have the guts to just say to yourself, that's a $10 move from 98 to 88 and just step in front of it, that would have given you a better return. I like to wait with bad news for a secondary bounce. I just kind of feel like the percentages are better. I'd rather have a higher, in that going counter trend, I'd rather have a higher percentage trade with a tighter stop and knowing that it's been support once as opposed to getting the perfect price and the maximum return. So I'd always rather play it this way, where I kind of know how I'm feeling out the trade, as opposed to just jumping in front of the sword on bad news.
Okay, so that's, I mean, you're not going to get a better answer than that. So that's a good one there on some of those levels for Peloton. And we talked about getting out of that one a long time ago. I mean, there was some bad news. Unfortunately, what we're talking about there underneath the treadmill there. But yeah, you could have got out of Peloton a long time ago. And yeah, it's just, I think it's a buy at some point, but you got to wait. Those levels were good. 2150, talk about a buy at some point. I mean, we haven't even talked about Palantir here yet today. And it hasn't been super exciting. I mean, it's up 0.18 right now on the day. Obviously, missed opportunity. You guys know normally I'm pounding the table on this when we get to these 50 levels and whatnot because they've held for us. And this one would have worked as well. And you would have had at least, I don't know about at least, but you know, it's about like 20-cent move back to the upside. But a new contract today, but doesn't seem to be wanting to move. So I'm not super excited about Palantir until we get, I don't know. I really, like, I want to load up on this stock again, not in my own account, but on for you guys on a day trade. Once we get, like, I just want to see what happens again, like at this 2050 level, at 20 even. If we can ever get down to there, I want to see what size is there. I want to see who's protecting that level. So we're going to wait here, 20. So we're going to wait to that. And then I don't think, my average price is now, I'll have to check, it's like 16, something like that on Palantir, because I did buy 2187 or 2182 was my last buy. So we're still in here, but I mean, we really loaded up down here at 9 and was able to take some out up here and on the way up as well. So we're not holding this forever, but I do like Palantir. Obviously, we've talked about it over and over for the upside of what's still to come. PRPO, dancing again. You have that 420 level on PRPO. We did get some talk about, I was gonna say Occidental here, OCGN. We'll have a look on a little bit of a longer time frame here on this one. OCUGen, of course.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned.
Yeah, it's kind of flat today, right?
Sorry, Sean. You mentioned Oxy there, and we have never talked about that stock. But some of the chemical shortages probably going to be a positive headwind for or tailwind, I should say, for Oxy. There's a couple of stocks, and just because we're going through things that you guys are interested in, two of them. One is BLRX, and I'm pretty sure you guys, at least a few people have been asking about Uber, so I want to go back to it again. But BLRX, and I look back towards, and this is a 1 minute chart, so it's a little bit condensed here. But I look back towards this 440 area. From that yesterday, from that little bottom, it was just a crazy bottom at 440. Very, very volatile. It's broken through and then held $4. So you kind of go back to, to the daily chart here. You kind of go back to what were some of the clusters that it had. Now, not a heck of a lot till you get down to like the $3 to $3.50 range. Up here, all you had is this recent spike, and this was a failed break at 4. So, I mean, some support at 4 is not crazy. It's down 12% already. It's made a bit of a bounce. Now you have this little consolidation range. I don't like it till it breaks upside of this range. We'll call it like 435. But when you have that 4 as cover, this isn't a horrible idea for a bit of a breakout long. I'd love to see the volume kick up a little bit, so this might actually be maybe later on in the lunch hour. If it breaks 35s, I could get into it in the next 10-15 minutes. I'm thinking that's unlikely because the volume isn't kicking up, but BLRX certainly on the radar through 435 for me. And watch out skills, 7 cents away from getting out of the short. It was a great one off the open. Looks like it could stop out. I'm looking for that long in the afternoon.
Yeah, so we just took, you guys asked about OCGN, so I'll talk a little bit about it here if you want. We just took it, so easy for me to talk about. Nice one so far. 46 long, so it's 10 cents in the money. Right now we're gonna scalp it out a little bit here. If we just get a little bit more on this, we'll take some out here, OCGN. And the reason why, again, as I was looking at it, like we just bottomed out. Like, so I mean, we got to take that profit, don't we? OCGN right there looking like a nice little win possibility here for that name. So excited to look at that. There it is. Like, how fast was that for OCGN? I told you guys, like, when things are working, man, they're working. Take 12 cents quickly on OCGN there. And now we've got the banger, hopefully, for you on this name. So OCGN right now looking like a good name. We'll see if it can hold the level. But there it is, man. And I wanted to average in down to 12. It doesn't even look like we need to do that as this name just continues to run up. How quick was that one, guys? 14 cents in the money. We want more, but there it is. OCGN, a good little rip there.
There you go, guys. And I see a little Miss Via typing in there. We need some more likes. We're very close to 2K. So 2,000 is a fantastic number. It's a round one. We like round numbers around here. So let's get it there. We got 13 minutes to do so, which should be pretty easy. The other name you guys are asking is Uber. There's the dance. Let's see you do that in real life there, Miss V. I know right? I couldn't. I'd probably like hurt my back or something, which is just how I roll because I'm old. You guys asked about Uber. It was on the comeback trail, so I was gonna be a little bit happy about the fact that it bounced off 51.50, but then it hard reversed here at $1 in the money. Well, if you had it at the bottom, $1 in the money. But it's made a double bottom. Look at this, on volume, as volume picked up, I'm not gonna keep stretching it for you, you can kind of see, as volume picked up, bouncing off of this low one more time. So Uber looks like it's trying to get going. The market is also participating back towards the upside. Instead of looking at a long here for like a breakout trade at 52.40, I think because you have the double bottom, I'd much prefer this cluster here, 51.80 into 52.10. So an average price in the middle of that cluster to the low of the day, just for a bit of a bottom pick on Uber. I know it's going to be earnings, but I love this setup. I mean, it's going to be too good to ignore here, guys. So as much as skills could take me out, it's holding for now. And that DPW, actually looking at a re-entry in DPW, I'll get to that in a quick second. I'm going to jump into some Uber right in the middle of that target range. Between 85s and 52.10s. So I'll pick it up here at 96, give it to that low of the day. And I mentioned quickly that DPW was making a bit of a move up. I haven't touched this since getting in at this pop at 9.50. Goes all the way into $3, so you get that 10% return. We had it in the pre-market. It's still holding. You can draw a trend line if you want. I'm not going to because who cares? But it's starting to get back to that upside. If it rolls over from here, having failed at 325, I think a decent position to maybe add to it at 320. I've avoided doing so. I'd much rather it test up to 350 or the high of the day before digging into this sleeper. It's been in the money all morning long, so it just hasn't concerned me. Starting to get to that point where you don't want to turn that winning trade into a loser. I haven't averaged in yet, and if it breaks 340, I'm out anyways, but I'm looking for a re-entry into DPW after an hour and a half of doing basically nothing in that stock.
Just seeing if there's any other opportunities here. At some point, we're going to be, yeah, okay. Just looking at this OCGN right now. I mean, Is there more upside? Yeah. I don't know where this thing's going to stop. I don't really have a target. I was actually looking, this is what I was looking at right here, this bottom of 75. I feel like I just put this trade on, and I may just take this 20 pennies right here, because if 75 is going to be the ultimate top, you know, we might as well do this right now and take some, and take some out on OCGN. Yeah, you know what, if we can get 68s, let's do that. It doesn't matter, 68, 67 at one point, it will be fine. So we'll wait to see here on some dark pools if we can get any fills here on OCGN, and then we'll get out. So you can see all these dark pools, like you see the cross downs here into the half print. So there we go. Okay, there it is. So we get out there on OCGN. We actually get a 68 print just as we're talking about it right there. So there it is. Like, that's a banger. Bang, bang, bang. Right there, a quick, easy scalp for you guys. That reminds me of our lunch money trades. Put it on quickly and get out there. So there it is, paying ourselves before we pay anybody else. That's a good trade right there for you on OCGN. I hope it works. The only thing left, man, and I'm light on all this as we're getting ready to wrap the show up, obviously, with only 10 minutes left, join us at 3:15, is this Ford. We missed the highest spot here. In the morning, it was great. We got out all over here, got more shares at the bottom, tick, 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 upside. I just guess we'll drop out of the rest of this if we take out this 50. That's right where VWAP is. So if we take out 50, let's get out. I mean, it'll only be an 8-cent winner. We do give up some, but again, you know, what we're in, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I actually only have 10% left, so there must have been 2 outs, or we got doubled up there somewhere. But only 10% left of this trade, so it's not really worth too much to me at this level. But hey, to break through 50, man, money is money, and we want to take it. So that's going to be a trade there, breaking through 50. Otherwise, I still like an upside break of 1160 if the market rips. So that's an idea. Rocket, I mean, I'll be happy. We'll floss a little bit of it off here today for you, as it'll be roughly a positive stock. It will be, but you know, we missed an opportunity. We got out double up here at 25.26. And Randy, I saw you in the comment there. You said, is Rocket kind of coiling up here to take off? I think so, but again, that crystal ball that I have sometimes doesn't work. So we're going to wait to see on Rocket. Been a very, very profitable day for us, and it will be hopefully in the afternoon as well. So let's wait to see on Rocket. It needs to take out, like with confidence, this 30 level. If it doesn't hit the 30 level, Randy, then I think we got to wait for earnings.
And back on the well, back in position on that ATNX. Talked about patience. I said when we shorted up that 535 area, if it couldn't break 5 even, I'm not going to get back in. You're going to wait for the high of the day. This is what I didn't do the first time. This is what I am doing now. I just got some at 560. You know, 75 is that high. If it tries to roll over here, I won't have a full position on. If it gets any tighter to that 575, certainly going to be in play to add to this one. And because remember what I said, if it holds 5, then I'm going to like a 575 breakout long. So I wasn't thinking about that 75 long necessarily, you know, here when I took it at 10 o'clock. But now that we've held once and twice at $5, that's actually a fantastic fill at 503. Sometimes you got to have a bid out there to get that kind of a fluke fill. Should have been like 5 pennies worse if I didn't have that bid. But I'm reversing long in 575. ATNX is done 150 in volume and still on volume trying to press towards the highs without making any fresh lows. It had an all-world seller at $5 that couldn't push this stock down. I was short in front of it and it couldn't go more than 480. That tells you some of the strength there. Even if this wins, at this point, it still has to break 5 to get me away from taking a 575 breakout long.
Okay, there's that question. Someone had a lot of money. So Marco,
I'm looking for it too.
I don't mind answering the question. What stock is that? FTRCQ? Okay, so basically, I assume because it's a FTRCQ. It's going to be, I can call it up on my other screen. FTR, is it CQ? Yeah, CQ. So, okay, here it is. Yeah, the name of the company is...
It's Frontier Communications.
Yeah, Frontier Communications. Yeah, it's gone now on the pink sheet. So basically, all you got to do, Marco, is talk to your broker, because if it gets uplisted, it may take a day or two for those to hit your account. So that's the only thing that I can tell you. It does, you know, they do have to talk to the listing and then, you know, get your shares exchanged from that symbol to the new one. So that happened as well to everybody, not me included because I own it in Canada, but MNMD just went from pink over, it was MMEDF, remember? So maybe you guys can help out Marco there on the chat, how long that did take, and if you even have your shares now in MindMed, because it does take a while for them to settle. What's up, Brent?
Was just seeing this was 4 days ago, guys, but the new ticker for that is going to be FYBR. So it's going to start trading on the NASDAQ under FYBR. That's Frontier, guys.
Yeah, there you go. So you just have to wait for it to start trading, and it's a fantastic question. I think it's very, very important, because look, it's going to happen to you if you've never been involved in something that went from well, I guess it kind of cuts both ways. From penny stocks into pink sheets, which if you've ever invested in penny stocks, it's happened to you at least one time probably. And then you just got to wait it out a little bit. That's one of the reasons why we have Jeff Mendel on from OTC X. Maybe we'll get him back on. I think he is coming back on. I don't know the exact date, but I'll get that to you when we know. Great question. I think it's important. Just with only 5 minutes to go, I just got some out of that ATNX. There's no way I can sit here and say to you, if it breaks this high of the day, I'm going to reverse into a long and then not think it makes sense to take profit in front of VWAP. So I did get some out there. I'll do it again and probably get flat in front of 530. If it does another catastrophic drop, fair enough. But this stock is giving me enough indications that it is coiling up for a bit of a break, that I'm not going to fight it too hard. This is a look, and I probably should have shown you this on the daily chart. This is another reason why you kind of look at that 575 break and say to yourself, if it wants to fill in this gap, are you kidding me? Why not? The upside is definitely there in the potential. I know I've been mostly shorting it. Literally like 90% of my entries have been short trades, and it's been solid, and I'm up on it. At some point, you give up the ghost. If it cannot break 575 is a near lock to give you a fantastic little breakout trade. And you're probably even giving that back at least like 15 or 20 cents minimum. Otherwise, don't take it.
Yep, exactly. So guys, again, thank you for all the questions. Like, this is how, we learn and you guys learn and everything like that. So I think that's super, super important. Look, it's been a huge show, a very, very huge show. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Ethereum Classic ripping. We can look at Dogecoin actually going the other way right now. What? This was, okay. I don't know if any of you guys are on the Kraken. I just use this because I like the charts and I think they show up well on here. Maybe I can move this up a little bit right there. I think Green Bay is going to, by the way, this is my call on this one. They're going to have like an aha moment. And I believe they trade Jordan Love to settle. I don't want to call Aaron Rodgers a crybaby, but okay. Down to the downside there. I don't know. Like, if you guys, did that? Sometimes this can happen, guys. As a strategy, you may want to put some orders. And if any of you guys are on Kraken and saw this, I don't know if it's on Twitter now or what, but I haven't seen any misprints on these charts. Sometimes levels crack. And you might have just been able to get long at 50 there. I don't know if that happened on any other exchanges. Maybe you guys can tell me. I don't think so. So I think this is not right because there's enough liquidity that probably wouldn't have happened. And I probably would have heard about it. But anyways, I just want to talk about it. Congratulations, everybody on that coin. I'm not, but I wish I was. So again, a nice move there. Maybe Brendan has something. What's up?
I don't see anything, actually, okay. But we'll keep an eye out. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Let's have a look at earnings, guys. A couple of minutes to go here. Still lots to get through on the earnings front. Oh, wow. Yeah, take your pick.
What?
I can see three. But look, I'm going to be focused on Uber. That goes without saying today. And I know you got that rocket in PayPal, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Moderna's there. So watch out. Yeah, watch out for Moderna. That's going to be a big one as well.
I'm trying to keep it on there. I'm trying to find one that maybe is a little bit undercover there, but there's just so many. I mean, I can't believe Wayfair went down to $2 in March. That's nuts. Oh, there it is. I found one that might be interesting right in the middle there, top middle. There's two back to back. It's Fastly and Etsy. So I think there's an opportunity there for Etsy. We've seen Pinterest on negative pin. You know what? Let's check out Pinterest again because that one got hammered. Okay, we can take that off, boys. That one got hammered there, Pinterest, not too long. What? Oh my God, Neil, this one absolutely still, Neil, getting destroyed here on Pinterest. Unfortunately, my daily is not moving on this, but I wonder if Etsy, I like both these names. I want to call Pinterest up one more time for you. Yeah, this cracked hard off earnings, man. Down to 60. Wow, this is maybe. I know you like pins, Neil. This may be a good spot. Let's just see what Etsy is doing right now.
I said one of the mistakes you can make, and I'm having an issue.
Same thing, actually.
I was going to say, I'm having an issue with my chart calling up new symbols right now.
I have it.
Let's see if you have the daily on Pinterest, if it's working.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe keep it. There you go.
Just go to
my issue with Pinterest. Oh, it's actually loading up a little bit here. But anyway,
there it is.
My whole point is I look at this level at that 60 and just never get married to the fact that I don't care what your entry price is in stock, just act like if you didn't have it, or act like that's at that price, because what will happen is you'll get anchored to some entries that you have. And if it was one of your recovery plays and you're long below like 30, it's really easy not to take profit and sort of say, well, who cares? I'm so deep in the money, I don't give a darn, because clearly there was a good reason to have taken Pinterest off in the 70s instead of just trimming it, maybe getting down to like 10% or almost even flat on it. Because if it breaks 60 on earnings, you're really starting to hunt back down for at least a 10-15% move on pins. It could get ugly. Look at Microsoft and LinkedIn advertising versus Snapchat and Pinterest, and ask yourself, this is all that you do, and LinkedIn's kicking your butt, and Microsoft is in everything. Maybe there's still some more downside. And then you get the news with the Fed as well. None of that is necessarily good for Pinterest, so I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for probably 50s.
A couple people talking about halts here. So you might have to check with your broker here, guys, because I just brought up Uber. Uber is not halted, neither is NIO. So a couple people having some issues maybe on the data side. So Uber definitely not halted, guys.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
I mean, it's already 11:30. Do we have what day it is?
No, guys. I'm not seeing any prints on Uber myself, and I'm in positions. I thought it wasn't moving, but looks like it's still
Uber
right
is
around 52.
having a data problem. There is a problem with Uber. So I mean, whether or not
there
it's halted,
is.
it's acting like it's halted because it's not moving. So no idea what's happening there. It hasn't traded on the daily, on the minute chart since 11:26, so that's only 4 minutes. And then here we go, guys, just to show you. It's interesting. I know we're past our time, but this is interesting. Come on, open this up. I just want to show you here. If you guys can see the timing there, yeah, there's the sales conditions. Here is the orders. So yeah, no printing even on our system. And I'm just going to check, like maybe we're having.
I'll show you the level 2. I'll show you the level 2 though. I'm seeing movement on level 2. So this is what lets me know that it's still trading. I'm seeing movement.
There's a problem at NYSE because
there's no data on the prints coming through, but there are quotes coming indicating it's at 5204. Now I'm long at 96, guys. So that's what I'm looking at here. The question
no,
would
it's
be,
everything. It's New York.
It's all New York.
Brennan, I'm surprised you don't have anything. Everything is halted. Not halted, but everything stopped moving on the. There's a NASDAQ outage right now, apparently. I can't believe that you don't have anything like this, Brendan. Maybe it's just brand new and they're trying to figure it out right now. Like, you see, this is funny. Like, see, I get like, I don't know if you can see this, like my hair is standing up now. I know that's gross, but like whenever something happens in the market, I get really interested, and it's just exciting. So yeah, right now I don't see any movement on NEO.
John, just for you guys
NASDAQ.
here, execution is working at the New York. I'll show you why, because I was looking at that corner level 2. I was able to, look, I'm long at 96. I could hit that bid at 5204. And just to test it out, just to make sure, I'm like, it's in the money. I can trim the position. If they're having an outage, it's a smart thing to do anyways. But I got that fill. So as much as there's no data and you're not seeing anything on the time and sales to reflect that print, I can tell you I just got out of those shares. So it's likely just a data issue that they're having. There is still trade going on clearly for most of these symbols, as you can see by the moving quotes. So make sure you got that execution. I would say probably look into not adding to positions when you're having this kind of an outage. And check those stops. You can always trim. That's another reason we're trying to give this to you guys. I know we're past our time, but this is an interesting learning experience.
Okay.
It just came back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just back. And again, guys, thank you for, again, we've already talked about the community. Let's do whatever day it is, guys, because we're well past our time here. Join us at 3:15. What's up, V?
Hey guys, well, we are running out of time, so just happy National Totally Chipotle Day, everyone.
Totally what? Oh, totally Chipotle Day. I thought today was Cinco de Mayo, so maybe that's in relation, but that's just the Chipotle, like the mix, I guess, the spice mix. But happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. Have some Chipotle today, celebrating that style of food. Why not? So that's a big day today, and congratulations, or not congratulations, but happy Cinco de Mayo for all of you that celebrate it, and for you that do not have a margarita anyways. Glad that the market's back working, that's for sure.
Yes, sir, and glad that, look, I mean, of course now Uber's up, so I trimmed the position and it goes more in the money, but it is what it is. I wanted to test it out. Wasn't sure what was going on there. Great learning experience. I'm glad you guys were there for that. It's been a fantastic and fun day. We're over time for the entire team. Miss V is in the green. I know we're not wearing green shirts, but we're positive. The market's bouncing back, and we'll give an assist to Valeria for always doing diligent work. When the market needs a green day, Miss V does the green shirt. We got to get some new ones for her though, just deck it out, deck it all the way out. So for Valeria, for my man Sean Katina, for Brendan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close. Going to be a good one. Bye, guys.